Yes, indeedy, Chris. Let us go ahead and end the day out with a banger. And this one is somewhat of a rivalry game, some would say. Last time that these teams met on LAN, let's just say there were some words that were exchanged after it ended up going down. But let's go ahead and meet our rosters. Let's go ahead and meet our teams. We're starting things off with the Boston Breach. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the Boston Breach. Kremp, Beans, Owakening, and Vivid, the Boston Breach.
Everybody in the community is always talking crap about Boston. They're always on everyone's tongue. They want to shut everyone down with this performance right now. They've been called onliners. People have said they use EQ. Well, they have Gigawake and Beans, who have been #1 and 2 in KD throughout this stage. They're trying to dominate the hard point. Let's bring out their opposing squad.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy to take down this next team, but tell you what, Boston's a very, very difficult fight. But now it is time to meet the team on the other side of the stage. They have something to prove, and they're looking to take down the Breach Boys. Let's go ahead and meet now the Minnesota Røkkr. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Minnesota Røkkr! Bance, Cammy, Fame, and Attach, the Minnesota Røkkr.
The Minnesota Røkkr have been building a story all year, and now the final chapter is coming to a close. Champs on the line, they have to win this series to keep this story alive. And getting through the Boston Breach is a tall task. I'm ready for this last match of the day, Lando. Let's get it started.
Let's get it done, Allie. And like we said, it's a rivalry game. It's going to be a blast. I couldn't think of two better casters for it. Brycey, Ton, take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Lando. It is time. Final game of the day here at the Major. And these two teams, Ton, they really want this win, whether it be revenge or champs locking in.
Yeah, it's one of those games where there is definitely a little bit more on the line, but a good stage online for both these two teams. Heading into this one in the winners bracket, both of them had their struggles up and down across the year, but this one is going to be very, very interesting. We've already seen this one on LAN over this stage. It was Boston to take it away, but not without a small amount of controversy, of course. So the Minnesota Røkkr will be coming into this with probably a little bit of crowd support. You know, you're thinking about Bance and Cammy, previously on Ultra. They will have fans in Toronto, of course, as well. I'm very, very curious to how this one breaks down. The desk of all went Boston. There's maybe some bias on our side when it comes down to the British players, of course. But I think that Minnesota Røkkr are a team, when we talk about these kind of moments and how they've started to set things up with Attach a little bit more, they're the kind of team that do play around that teamwork quite a lot in terms of how they play the game, whereas this Boston side are slay. So it's very opposite sides of the coin, I want to say, for the team style and when we go into this matchup.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's something that we've kind of known for a while, roughly how we expect this to go in certain areas. Boston, the buzzsaw. They are going to win the gunfights. They are going to outslay in the majority of positions. But for Røkkr, the rotate, the right play at the right time. These two play styles will now go head to head. Boston have already logged champs, but Røkkr, if they win this one, will do so as well.
We believe so, at least anyway. I'll let the guys behind the stage figure that kind of things out.
Math.
Bryce, I'm not very good at many things. Math's been one of those. But we're not too bad at commentating Call of Duty, and I'm quite looking forward to this one. Røkkr against Boston, we've seen it on the schedule. Everyone was looking forward to this. And, well, it's been a day of upsets. And, well, I don't know if we get so much of an upset here. I think it's just going to be a banger. I think we may well go all the way. It's going to be aBeZy to kick things off between these two teams. I'm excited to get into this one, Bryce.
Me too. It's been a wild day already here at the Major. And it can only get more exciting. Winners bracket, always a delight. We kick off between these two teams, of course, controversy aside. We are coming towards the end of our run for this year, and these two teams are starting to hit some serious form.
I'm curious how Minnesota Røkkr are going to play this up. Boston, we haven't seen it in quite some time. The last time we've seen it for them was in January, but the record sits pretty good. It's sitting at 6-3. A lot of it really is coming down to the holds and breaks not being very good for either one of these two teams. It's about the rotation when we talk about aBeZy. It's actually Fame kicking some decent kills off for the team, and for Minnesota Røkkr, of course, the new kind of old lineup, whatever which way we want to call it. Let's see how they do up against a very heavy slaying Boston Breach team. Cammy and Bance looking up to a couple of kills over towards P2. They'll be locking in that rotation for the Røkkr in 15 seconds.
And Boston right now, they know they're not in the position really to get into P2. They'll still fight for it, but P1 was where they were looking to get the time, and they will have just a little bit. For Røkkr on the other side, though, they've got it all locked in and ready to go, except for Beans.
Yeah, Beans could be a great equalizer here for the Boston Breach towards the back. Minnesota Røkkr, a lot of members turning towards them, and well punished for it. Bance will deal with them in the end, but Fame and Co gonna have to defend from the backside now. Kremp has slipped through over towards the PD side, and you can already see that Fame making the push over towards Car Park, trying to shut this down. We'll find 1 and 2, well played from Fame, but again, inside of PD is where Boston Breach are trying to get some control. Kremp's in there, causing an issue.
And Boston have done such a great job to get this a little bit contested at one point. Røkkr had everything in the bag. Kremp keeping it alive. Beans getting another one back towards the back. Will keep them off the point for a few seconds. But the points have not been rolling in this game so far.
And that's the first time that Røkkr have actually managed to clear out PD entirely. Bance with the 6 spree though. There you go. Immediately it will be that cruise missile in the back pocket. Looking over towards this rotation though with 15 seconds left to go. The scrap time firmly going over towards Minnesota Røkkr and a lead with it. Big kill coming in from Bance as well. They can start to clear them out of PD. It's the wrap through Car Park that may well come. But Boston Breach have had some time to set up here. How are they going to manage to hold it?
Easy kill there on the Bance, and this is a full lock now for Boston. All across the map, they have kept Røkkr away. This is the hard take, this is the hard push for them. Fame looking for Beans, an incoming cruise missile. Trying to get positioning for it. He's actually throwing it wide here, maybe to buy time for his team, but nothing coming.
Oh yeah, manages to get it through the door, and there you go. Beans will get taken down, but you need the rest of the team to be in position. As you said, you know, he's taking his time with it. Nobody from Røkkr in a position to do much with that cruise missile. That was well earned by Bance, sitting in 8 and 3, make it 9. Now the breakneck stealth to come from the backside. Cammy will find 1. Awakening to answer back. It's 3 dead momentarily. Minnesota Røkkr starting to find some kills, but a big one from Awakening. Bouncing back here for the Boston side. Vivid will clean it up. Well held from Boston Breach.
And they will now take the lead there with that scrap time. No more time for Røkkr to make an impact. But this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Boston going for the rotate. They're looking for it. They smell blood in the water, and Vivid finds 3. And they have managed to get this back-to-back hard points. This last kill, Cammy still alive! Oh, the 2-piece prevents the rotation.
Insane from Cammy, but insane from Boston at the same time. It was looking like P3 was going to get broken, and then all of a sudden it looked like they had P4 control as well. The momentum was firmly in their sails, but big kills coming in from Cammy. Singing 8 and 7 himself. Now can Minnesota Røkkr lock down their first decent time since P2. Kills starting to be traded. Beans may well be on his way in, but needs some help from the rest of the team.
Got to wait too many corners to check. Doesn't matter. Beans calls it correctly. Has broken through. Røkkr ready to try and return the favor, but Beans finds a second one with a Bance. Not going to find it there in the end. Bance will take him down. Vivid will find Bance, and it's trades all over this point.
It's very, very scrappy, and it may well just suit the side of Boston, who have managed to find this breakthrough. Fame will be able to somehow find 1 and will get traded. That's for 20 seconds. It's been back and forth between these two teams so far. Seems as if the team who are first there are the ones picking up the majority of the time. We thought that would be the case when we looked at the statistics. This time around it's going to be Minnesota Røkkr, the first ones over towards the kitchen side. As the game slows down for just a moment, that mid-map control is there. Boston Gonna have to find a way through. It's a slender lead. Minnesota Røkkr set up very, very nicely. Boston Breach have got to get through Bance over towards the tennis court as well. Nice setup for Røkkr.
And this first hit, this is what they want. Make it good, make it connecting, and getting a little bit of chaos in this point. Attach, still holding, still waiting, but nobody is flowing through Laundry. His teammates are now going to be a little bit outnumbered until he comes to back them up, and Boston are finding it. Fortunately, Fame and Bance combining. Fame with the second, and the third in the end, and they held the push.
And I love that actually from the Minnesota Røkkr. They see they get pushed out on the car park side, so then they just take the gunfights inside of Laundry, and then they can go back on themselves, not having to worry about the flank, because we've already wiped them out. Minnesota Røkkr. It's been a good hold so far over towards Kitchen. Attach starting to fry as well, 1 HP in a dream. But that is a wonderful, wonderful hold from Minnesota Røkkr to end a really entertaining first rotation of hills between these two teams. 10 seconds to go. It's looking like every single one of those seconds has gone over towards the Minnesota side.
And from this point, you still fight, you still push through Old Hill, because you know P1 is coming up next. Positioning is always king. And Fame on a 5-streak will eventually fall. So sorry, it wasn't Fame, it was Cammy, but still. They're looking for this one here. Both teams going to be a little bit hesitant to get on P1 until they feel secure.
Yeah, it's all about the position, as you point out. Cammy will get caught out, though. It's looking like Boston are the ones in that prime spot now, as Fame will make it 6. There's the cruise missile. Hasn't died pretty much since we got over towards the Kitchen side. We'll keep control of this area, and we'll just keep on frying. That's 7 in a row now for Fame. Looking to position over towards P2. Beans is going to be an issue. He'll clean up there. Boston are in probably the better position, but still 30 seconds of P1.
Looking for it, both teams still fighting. Attach is going to be on Overwatch, but they've got a player up top PD as well. As Bance will find one in Kitchen, but this is all about P2. Nobody committing to time on P1. They want to get in this position. Last time, Røkkr had the rotation, but Boston kept beating them off of it. And it seems like it might be the same situation now, Tom.
Minnesota Røkkr eventually getting themselves in this position. But this time around, they don't have car park control. Beans Awakening finding those kills. Again, it's another one for Awakening in the mid-map. This is complete control from Boston Breach now. You can see immediately Awakening just wanting to watch that flank. Doesn't want anybody pushing over from the tennis court side. As the streak starting to come in as well. Boston's still in a prime position. Is the cruise missile going to do anything? Absolutely not. Boston Breach holding on very, very easily so far.
Yeah, Boston didn't even blink when that was coming in. Held the position still, and this is a great opportunity for them. Røkkr swarming towards the back of P2 are looking for some sort of difference. Cammy will find the first, but Vivid holding up with Awakening, and they are just continually putting them in the bin.
Very nicely done. Minnesota Røkkr do find a couple of kills, though. Will get a small hold of the hill. Attached toward the back, just staying alive as long as he can, but it's Awakening on a 7 spree. 8, it comes in. Awakening starting to heat up now in this series. Make it 9. He breaks it open. That's 13 seconds of scrap and a lead for Boston Breach. Rotation starting to come in here as well. Beans is already there. Minnesota Røkkr trying to get through from the tennis court side. This is not an easy break. And the scrap going over towards Boston.
Well, they call him Gigawake for a reason. There's 9, and he will fall eventually. Rotation going to be in hand of them now, but Vivid walks up and takes down Bance in an easy kill. But Vivid looking for the second, snapping, clapping, and destroying Røkkr as they find no purchase at P3.
And Vivid just stays alive inside of Orange, waits for the rest of the Røkkr to come on through. He is there to very much pick up the pieces and then some. It's 4 in a row for Vivid on the rotation over towards P3, and this is where things may start to get a little bit out of hand. Røkkr did not have a good time here last time around. Can they find a break eventually? Vivid is dealt with. Minnesota Røkkr do find a break.
Boston Breach did not want to let that one go, but they might have the rotation and one last push. But let's find out how they are feeling in the comms with the Boston Breach. Listen in.
He's signing up. Iron up. How many on Here, found it. Yeah, they can go in there. Pretty weak. Pretty want to up 3. P2 again, guys. Dead! Nice, let's go. Push out. I'm waiting on this one. They could spawn like close. I run from top. Okay, give me sign. I can pick your sign. I'm one check out. Oh, yeah, one is Xbox Bance. He's on the front back. Yes, one. Go in. So let's be back. I'm behind this one. That's one. One bullet. Up to. He wants to start. Don't fall here. What's happening? You want to double. 2p1, one top. No one. Yeah, you want to lay down the one shot. Full top. Yeah, I'm back to you. I think I'm back to you on. He's running. That's true. I'm in the top. He's only aimed up. I think he's sitting there waiting. Can you shot new?
Yeah, I can.
No. I don't know where they are.
Come spinning guns, hitting both teams into the blender, onto the anvil of war as they keep fighting around kitchen. It is still all to play for. Both teams so close as Kremp finds an incredible second.
He's done well, and Boston have done fantastic, actually, to get a hold of Kitchen. And it's kind of been a bit of a flip in terms of what we've seen in the first rotation of Hills. It was brilliant from Røkkr to find the break at P3. Boston found a full 60 on the first time around, but this time around, Røkkr found a break. That's why they still have that lead to start to find kills inside. Are they going to be able to find a third? Beans is left all alone. It's a wonderful break from Minnesota Røkkr. They break the 200-point mark. It is about a 15-point lead. It's still ever so close at this stage. 10 seconds to go, and we head into a third rotation. There is very little to split these two at this moment.
There isn't for Boston. This is all about P2 and getting a little bit of time on P1. They cannot afford to give Røkkr anything. Røkkr, though, have a little bit more of the options, but it will come down to the slaying and the playing on the day, as P1 lies empty as it has so many times in this game so far. Who wants it more?
Well, these two teams controlling crucial areas, but nobody able to get that total control they want for P2. Still a lot of time to go over towards P1. A flurry of kills will initiate a push onto it, no doubt. Beans trying to stay alive up towards the top side. Cammy and Code trying to deal with them as best they can. Attach will find a second, but looking over towards it is still going to be the spawns there for Minnesota Røkkr towards P2. Boston spawning towards the tennis court side. We'll know exactly where Røkkr are at this stage. And every single point that Røkkr get here with this 30-point lead or so is so crucial. Boston need to keep them off it, which is meaning that P2 rotation is just so much harder to fight for.
Cammy's the only player there. They've already got to get the spawn as well. You can see that Røkkr are in the better position now. 7 seconds of scrap doesn't mean anything because P2 is popping. Røkkr here first. It's Boston to break.
It's the first time that we've seen Røkkr get themselves a good setup onto this one. Can Boston find a break through the PD side? Minnesota Røkkr are going to be about 15 seconds away by the time that Boston get over here, but here comes the cruise missile. Trophies are there to lock this one down. Minnesota Røkkr can very easily win it here at P2. Boston must find a break.
And Vivid again through the middle. Cammy holding the back here, but Fame will find him as well. They've cleared the lines. It's 14 seconds here for Røkkr.
How can they find a way through? It's not looking like they will. 5 seconds to go. Gotta go.
Last chance. Røkkr hold everything. Awakening towards the back. Cammy's going to try and take him on. You will not pass today. And Boston lose the first map. Røkkr ascendant. Better at the time. A close game, but no cigar. Boston could not match the power. Benjamin Bance, by the way, 34 and 27.
We talked about the slaying ability, but when it's not there for Boston, things do get a little bit tough. And that time, it was the SMGs of Minnesota Røkkr that really locked things down. And honestly, I think, you know, that second rotation, you think about back to the first one, it was very close after P1 and P2, but Boston got a hellish hold over towards that P3 side. Nearly every single second went their way. Second rotation of Hills, though, things got a little bit more difficult. They didn't get that hold, and from there, Minnesota did exactly what they did on that previous rotation, and it was P4 and 5 with their money Hills. It was nearly out of sight by the time we headed back over towards P2, and it's the same old story. When we get into that third rotation, P1 is popping. The team in the lead don't even need to worry about that at all. It's hard for Boston at that stage to then try and keep them up it because Minnesota Røkkr are happy to just chip away at that lead. And then from then on out, the setup is there because it was so easy to get it. And Røkkr closed the door, map number 1. A very impressive performance, but this was the kind of thing that we were missing from Fame when he was on the AR. The SMG play, exquisite today.
Yeah, turns out putting a player in their role might be the way to go. It's almost like we've learned that in previous years, but it doesn't matter. First map done, first map dusted. Boston can still come back into this though. All is not lost. A long series to go, and you've got to say there were some highlights there for Boston. Just weren't able to convert some of the rotations they got there first on.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of moments here and there. You know, we were talking about it though for Minnesota Røkkr. Holding and breaking is kind of being the low end of things, but their rotations this time around were really good as well. Not bad breaks either. You got the Røkkr boys at Bance and Fame sending it towards him, and he's he's pumped up about that one. Not piped up about that one. Beans and Co. very much going to have to find a way back into this one in map number 2.
They certainly will. Mikado, S&D. Where will it go? What will happen? it isn't all over. That's the thing. These two teams, realistically, when we look at them from a benchmark perspective, very, very close. The difference is, of course, is that Røkkr have had a team change. A team change that, I'll be honest with you, I didn't think was going to work, but
yeah, it was hard to say, it really wasn't, because I think we didn't see much from FaZe in terms of the SMG presence, but I think that's been the big win. Him and Bance are being able to kind of do what they want at this stage. FaZe is facilitating Bance. Cammy is then being facilitated by Attach. It's kind of working. It's felt like Røkkr, for the majority of the season, have kind of had these pieces, just not known how to put them together. And now they have found the perfect picture, I want to say, of the teammates that they had to their disposal. And this has been looking good for them since they went with this change. Get a few reps underneath their belt online, coming into it against Boston, and I want to say relatively comfortably taking the win in map number 1. They'd be feeling confident for the rest of the series.
yeah, there were a few issues, I think, for Røkkr. Boston certainly always could turn it around. You've got to remember one of the big turns in that series was Owakening. And one of the things I've said before and again about Awakening, sometimes he does start slow, and he started slow that game, but then he started to turn up, and that's where it gets worrying. But for Røkkr, their usual game plan, and the SMGs were actually carrying him through that one a lot of the time. But one thing I did notice on the damage ton is while Bance was leading him with 34 kills, Attach was 23, only 40 points of damage difference.
Well, that is like really what the A's are there to do, aren't they? They're there to put that damage down, to cause the problems for the SMGs to then go in and pick up the pieces. But yeah, for Boston, you know, again, kind of reiterating back to what we've talked about at the top of the show, what we talked about throughout the season. If we were playing TDM, these guys are great. But when they don't find that slaying, which is just been allowing them to run through teams, when they get outslayed, they're going to struggle because their fundamentals are not there as much as teams like Røkkr, Cammy and Bance. Two of the, I want to say, titans of what we talk about when we think about team, when we think about that Ultra team back in Cold War. These boys were at the forefront of that, and Minnesota Røkkr are starting to get towards that kind of team, what we thought they would be at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, with Cammy and Bance, there's been a lot of disdain from the community towards the pair of them, and for Cammy in the first half of the season, maybe it was justified, but he has started to turn up. When Attach left the roster, Cammy got better. I was worried when Attach come back he wouldn't be as good, but he has been so far. Røkkr and Boston, one more time into the S&D. It's glory all round. Who walks away and wins round 1 with a win? We'll find out.
A big win at that as well. And looking towards this one, interesting statistics. You know, if you're a Boston fan, you look at Røkkr sitting at 2-5. Oh yeah, great. What's our stat? Yeah, no, 0-2. Boston haven't played this for quite some time and do not have a great record on it. Minnesota Røkkr, not a great record at all either, but they will be happy to play Boston on a map they have not won in this CDL season.
Already, Boston close. Gonna be a little bit of overwatch, and Bance is gonna tickle the feet. Vivid will not get out of the line though, and Beans will hit him with a sniper. That? Oh my goodness, Beans gets a second one as well. Fame sitting there impotent, not able to do a thing.
And that's a bit of a curveball from Boston. Straight out of the gate, Beans may find a third. Attach will make his way over towards A and just trying to stay alive. I think the information was there. If Attach can find something, then maybe Røkkr can claw themselves back into this round. But heads up play from Boston. Think they've got the pressure over towards B. They switch it up, and now Fame. It's round number 1. You'll be getting plenty of sound cues from this one. Are they going to be ready for this?
Well, Fame will find the first. We get the second, goes for a bit of a spray. Only has 8 health remaining. And there's Kremp right across from him, but the health will come back, and he gets the second as well. It's now Beans, who's found himself attack, and oh my goodness, Attach will fall. Fame versus Beans. Both bursting onto their rosters this season.
This would be the ace for Beans. If he can manage to find it. 12 seconds to go. He's the one that has to move. Fame. Which way does he hold? Which way does Beans go? It's going to come down to a gunfight. Or is it Beans? Does he check the right way? It's the ace for Beans in round number 1 to get Boston back underway.
Sniper, tack, doesn't matter. Everything going to Beans in this one. The boy from Colchester done good.
I knew you were like that, Cole. Big round from Beans. And I think, you know, Røkkr are probably thinking themselves, how the hell has he got a sniper over towards the B side? What's the play here? Well, the play is good. Beans. Someone drags Boston back into this one. It might just be the first round, but after what happened in the hard point, to find yourself an ace, and the round there as well, will give you confidence heading into the rest of the rounds here now. Heading over towards the A side is what Minnesota Røkkr are going to do. It'll be a bit of a head, but Beans tagged up in the middle of the map, won't be able to help his team out. Vivid stunned up as well. Røkkr in a good position.
Nothing more frustrating than being stunned in that position. You know, you're outside Cantina. It's a little bit dangerous, but Kremp finds the first. Vivid enters into Cantina as well. Attach will find a kill, but Vivid will get through, but gets stunned by Cammy. And now with all the kills flying down for both teams, it's going to be Minnesota in the better position for it as well. Awakening will fall to Bance. And Beans with a sniper will be looking for a clutch this time.
Very little Awakening can do with that. Knows he's going to get pushed, but the SMG just that much better up close. Now Beans, yeah, he did well with a sniper in the previous round, but now starting to get tagged up by Attach and Nelly, everybody else on Røkkr, who will answer back pretty much immediately. Very well played. And I think, you know, those stuns are so crucial when you see them come over the top. Just slows Boston down. They're not able to get Cantina control. Minnesota Røkkr just grab a hold of it as quickly as they can. Vivid did get himself inside, but couldn't find the kill. That maybe turns around in a different direction. Very, very evenly matched between these two teams after 2 rounds, 1 apiece.
Well, let's see how it continues. This time it will be Boston on the attack, Røkkr to defend. Will it be another A headbutt? It looks like it might be. They're both teams rocking towards this one again.
Still there, but this time around Minnesota Røkkr have got it pretty cleanly or not. Kremp is there to go through the mid-map, and then here comes the cavalry. Boston Breach will find 3, very easily done, and Bance playing Island over towards the B side is left all on his own. Will find a kill to make it a 1 versus 2. 1v3 on the cards here for Bance.
Already flying in, and he will be stun checked. They now know where he is. It's not an easy position for him. Has a dead silence, has a grenade. But can he find any of these players? Finds the first, looks for the second. The snap is not good. Kremp will take him down.
Very, very close. Just about slips into Cantina with that dead silence popped, so they have 0 information. He finds the first, Kremp just turns around and starts spraying immediately. Big kill to come on through. That would have been a 1 versus 3 for Bance. And that would have spelled danger for the side of Boston. Ebbing and flowing this search and destroy so far.
Now, where do the adjustments start to come in for these two teams? Things have worked, things have not worked. So the comms will be flowing between them. And already you can see a little bit of a push coming straight down there. Beans on Overwatch with a sniper. Nades going out. It takes a little bit of a tickle from him, but already kills flowing. Bance will get Vivid, Kremp will get Bance. Advantage now to Boston.
And it was almost just protect Beans in the middle. You're seeing a lot of utility going in over towards him, trying to get rid of that sniper threat. And plenty of people just trying to protect around their main challenge, and this surely is he. Oh, well, no, somebody else is. It's going to be a touch up towards the top side, but Kremp is surely going to do something about this. Around the corner he goes, easy kills. Kremp now on 5 in a row, and it's a 1v3 for FaZe.
A little bit in no man's land, and they're going to find him before anything else comes through. Boston continue to rock these rounds over and over again.
The work clearly being done by Boston on this one. We're sitting at 0-2, was almost an auto veto. Get rid of those towards the end of the season. They really can impact you. Important that they're fighting in these rounds, basically off the back of Kremp and Beans, who have been running the show 7-2 and 4-2 respectively. Awakening yet to get a kill, but the rest of his team are absolutely frying. Boston 3-1 to the good. And a lot of that concentration from Røkkr is coming on to Beans, because I think, you know, they've seen the threat from it. They've respected that sniper play. Trying to get rid of him, they get caught out in the middle of the map. It's going to actually be a bit of a fake here from Boston. Plenty of utility over towards the A side, but Minnesota Røkkr, prime position to stop it.
Again, Boston, similar tactic. Incoming cruise missile. Beans with the sniper. Nades going out as well. Trying to thread it through, and they will find Cammy. Bance had a teammate. That teammate is now gone. And Boston swarm, and they get in as well. Vivid will find the second kill. And it's now a 2 versus 4. Boston have everything on lock.
Let's see if Minnesota could do this, but it was a bit of a second guess from them. It's now a 1 versus 4 from Attach. The streak comes in, and all of a sudden they start turning around thinking, oh yeah, okay, maybe we've just been duped here. Are they heading over towards A side? But no, it is very much a B hit from Boston. It's another round underneath their belt as well. 4-1 to the good. This has been very, very convincing from Boston at this stage. It's 8 in a row from Kremp, sitting at 9-2.
Huge plays for them. At the moment, Awakening 0-3. Could he be pulling an LA Thieves here? Have a player not drop a donut and win the S&D?
Yeah, there's a while ago. I trust in Gigawake to manage to find a kill. But yeah, I mean, look, Boston have just played that one perfectly. The streak comes in, you then start to manipulate. No trophy there for Cammy. Doesn't really want to move them from the position. They're not too sure which way it's going. Gets taken down, but Kremp, it is his show right now, and he's going to get himself into Cantina, very much tagged up. Gets there as well, though, but Minnesota Røkkr through the middle of the map will break that spree. FaZe finds him. Beans will answer back with a kill on the Bance. It's a 3v3. Cammy one on the flank. Awakening finds his first kill. Now a 2v2.
spread out all over the map. Cammy will take out Beans this time, but Awakening and Attach are going at it. And Awakening finds the kill and goes down to 1v1. Cammy's been spotted. This is a headbutt here, but it's actually better positioning for Awakening, and now he's chasing, and he's going to go down with this as well! Big Wake turns up in the end. 3 for him. And it's everything Boston.
And as soon as that trophy goes down, Cammy is in trouble. The stun check comes out. You got to get the hell out of dodge. You ain't winning this gunfight. Tries to use his teammate's dead body as cover, but nothing can hide from Awakening. 3 kills in that round, very much bouncing back. Boston Breach yet to find a win on Mercado Las Almas when it comes down to the search and destroy side of things. But Awakening trying to drag them over the line here.
Attach retaking that fight was probably not the right move, to be honest with you. Had the numbers advantage. Could have backed off, could have let Awakening sit. But it's not going to matter. 5-1 at the moment, and another headbutt going down the middle. Being an Overwatch. Bance will find Vivid though, first blood. Kremp tries to get it back, but Bance will find the second. And is there enough time for a resurgence here from Røkkr? Beans will find Attach regardless.
We haven't seen that many bombs being planted, to be honest with you. I was going to talk about Minnesota Røkkr and struggling. Oh my God, struggling to find anything on Awakening. How on earth has he found that second kill? Coming now into 1v1, he'll win this one. But that got scary for a second. Awakening with 2. And Minnesota Røkkr still breathing some life into this search and destroy.
What are these rounds?
Oh, honestly, it's just been headbutt after headbutt. Teams going at each other. As I said, there's really been no plans to talk about. I want to say, yeah, there's been 2 over the 7 rounds that we've played so far.
Yeah, it has been a bit crazy. But Boston just need 1 more round to tie this series up completely. Kremp's been hitting the first bloods. 4 for him so far. The difference maker, this time Røkkr on the attack. Not that successful in it.
And there's the query we had. Nero, such a great search and destroy player, gets dropped from the roster. Are you going to have somebody to find those first bloods, those first engagements? Kremp usually has been the one. He won't be this round. Attach and Co will find a big push over towards the A side. Boston with no answer. Bance on the very slow flank. The vice will start to tighten very, very quickly. Boston Breach will need to try and find a retake here, and it's going to have to be Beans in a 1v4.
And that's it. It sucks to have a sniper last alive. You know they're going to be just playing the shoulders, playing the angles. And while it has worked out for Boston so far, not that round, not that time. Røkkr still need 3. It's not a full sale if they do this, but it is still a mountain.
Things can get a little bit scary if you leak another one. Boston, as mentioned, yet to find a win on this map this year. So do things get a little bit tense? Kremp 2 rounds in a row without finding anything. He really has been the catalyst for them. Those first bloods been ever so important. Now pushing over towards, well, it looks like the A side for Boston. Happy to go for the headbutt themselves. The stun's going to be there on Fame. He has to get inside. He has to get himself in a position to slow down what Boston are doing here.
Already got it, and there will be a little bit of a tease from Awakening. He's been found. Attach will get his trade. Down to 3 versus 3. Awakening gets away with his life again. Cammy a little bit worried. Oh my goodness! Cammy takes down Kremp. Bance will get the nail of the last one. And that was almost a disaster for Røkkr. Beans left alive again on this point and dives into death. 5-4.
It's getting scary. And that's a big kill coming through from Cammy, because if that goes the other way, it's a very different story to the end of the round. Beans at this stage in the final kill cam can do very, very little. It hasn't, honestly, since the first round. He was sitting at 4-0, still only going to find 2 within the next, however many rounds have been. We've talked about my maths, it's not that great. But my maths tells me that Minnesota Røkkr are 1 round away from tying this up. It was 5-1 to Boston. Getting these towards these scary rounds of Minnesota Røkkr. If you're Boston, you're lucky that Røkkr do not have any streaks yet.
Well, here it goes already for Boston. A little bit of sweat down the back of the spine for Røkkr. Only glory awaits if they can make this, but it is still an uphill battle. Anything could go wrong at any time.
Bance is playing the island. He's waiting over towards that A side, but not making any sound. The sound is very much being made over towards the B side, but Bance will find one over towards A. Now it has to be respected from Vivid. He will find that, but Beans one under Cammy. It's a 2v3 for Røkkr to stay in the S&D.
This is what I said. It can all fall apart easily. It can all go wrong at the drop of a kill. Røkkr find themselves locked in.
Attach has hit the dead silence sphere. He's hit.
Oh no! That's the Gig Awake! That's the shake and bake, and that may be the end of this S&D. Fame will have to go for a 1 versus 3.
does have dead silence. He does have the bomb down. But just in a possible scenario, there you go. The grenades hit. They know exactly where he is. Boston yet to hit it. Fame will have time to regenerate this health. It's still doable here.
They're looking for him. There's too many players, too many guns, and that'll be it. It does not end with the reversal. It ends with Boston. And the only kill they find that entire round is Bance on the flank. They try to play it tricky. They try to play it cool. And in the end, it's Boston that tie the series up.
And honestly, Bance does his job. He finds the one, and then all of a sudden, Vivid kind of has to respect that, has to look over towards that side. But it is Beans with the sniper over towards B. That is really something that Boston worked around very, very well. A couple of these rounds really depended on what he was doing over there, and he did it very well. Not something we see too often, but Beans making it work for Boston. They will tie the series in their first win on Mikado Search and Destroy of the CDL season.
And it was beautiful from them. Obviously, the playbook has been written. Beans, get your sniper out. We're going to play around it the entire game. And even when he doesn't find kills in rounds, it's difficult for Røkkr to do anything. They know where that part of the map is going to be closed off. And in the end, Boston get it done.
Setting herself up very, very nicely, heading into an LSELO control from two teams notoriously very, very good at this game mode. It sets us up very nicely for the rest of the series. This one could still go either way.
It certainly could, but don't worry. More action here at the Major. We're going to a quick break, but when we return, everything that's going to happen with these two teams will continue after the break.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Monster Energy, the official energy drink of the CDL. The CDL is brought to you by your favorite Orange Bandicoot. Pre-order Crash Team Rumble today. Available June 20th.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Major. It is time for this game to continue. We're here in beautiful Toronto. Haven't got to see as much of it as I would like to, but that's a story for another time. Now, it is Røkkr versus Boston. These two teams have had it out on LAN once already this stage, but now it matters more. The Major is always magic, and one of these two teams can walk away the victor. Which one's it going to be, Ton?
I mean, it's whichever team does walk away has got themselves a nice little matchup next. They'll be looking at a game against Florida. Like, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, look, Florida looked fantastic, but I definitely would believe that Boston, Minnesota would rather play Florida than OpTic, and that's no disrespect towards the Florida side. That would be a very interesting matchup. It's a huge game for these two teams. Of course, more so for the Røkkr side. They win this, they clarify, they just about secure their spot in towards champs. And we think, look, I don't like to delve into these things too much, Brycey, but it's a big game nonetheless.
It certainly is. It's an interesting matchup, actually, for Røkkr versus Boston on this map. The truth is, I actually feel like this is a bad matchup for Røkkr, and the reason for that is Owakening and Beans. They lock down these sites, they cause issues for the other team, and then the SMGs have to try and get it done. It is always difficult to play against Boston when they've got the opportunity to stretch those ARs out.
Yeah. Of course, the control streak is, well, being quite significant from the Boston side. Since Vivid came in, they have been undefeated. And a lot of it, you know, you look towards this map specifically, a lot of people will remember that Minnesota Røkkr are very, very good at this map. 11-3 they are setting up, but Boston are no bad team when it does come down to control. We know this. The #1 offensive team in Boston up against the #1 defensive team in Minnesota Røkkr. Røkkr having a little dabble over towards the B side, as teams often do so, but they have been, well, very much deterred from that. Kremp on a 5 spree to kick things off.
And like I said, it is difficult. I feel like Boston recently, their recent form has caused issues for every team that they've played against. Beans now looking to lock it down, but Fane will get him eventually. The A point now for Røkkr. But with Kremp doing some serious work, 5-1, they'll be looking to retake this.
Boston Breach in no hurry to get over here. Covering all their bases, don't want to give anything up over towards that B side, but slowly and surely making their way over towards this side now. Awakening on the flank will be the one to maybe try and break something open here. Needs the rest of his teammates to maybe just stay alive whilst he tries to cause issue. He's going to get dealt with, but the rest of the team have had to turn around, and that allows Boston Breach to come on through. Cammy last one alive. He will be dealt with. Very well played from Boston.
Now this is the position Røkkr do not want to be in. Off spawn. Guns up from Boston everywhere. The SMGs will hold the inside. It is horrible for Røkkr to do anything in this scenario. And they are trying to make a move. Bance is going for the long flank. You can see him moving through the mini-map, but unless he finds a way for his team to get forward, it's not going to mean much.
Even if he gets on the head, that Boston need to then answer to him. That maybe gives Røkkr just a slight opening, but nothing going their way so far. Kremp has been dominant, sitting at 8-1. It may well have been 9, but Cammy with 2, Bance with 1, and there's the one break you need. How often have we seen that in control, not just today, but over this season? A team can be dominating, a team can be in prime position. It's 1-4 down. And the point is then gone. Boston very much in the lead in terms of the lives department. It may only be 3, and not a great deal of time for Røkkr to get something going over towards the B side either.
Now, is there a possibility? Is there an opportunity? This is where they've set up. Already keep an eye. There's Awakening and Beans. They're taking those long angles. And you have to get past them, but also keep an eye for Vivid and Kremp running through the inside. Bance again trying to make the right play, and it's not going to work out for them. 42 seconds left to go. Røkkr back off the spawn.
Yeah, he got some really good timing initially, gets by 1. And a lot of respect onto Beans. They've really been playing into trying to deal with Beans so many times in Minnesota Røkkr, especially over the last 2 maps. Haven't been able to do so far. Sitting in 4 and 5, but just chilling because the rest of the team are doing the business. Kremp sitting at 11-3. Minnesota Røkkr have not had much to talk about in this round, and that may well be it. 15 seconds to go, 8 lives remaining. Take something now.
They cannot find a way forward. You go field, you got Awakening and Beans on Overwatch. You go inside, you got Kremp and Vivid. They're making one last hurrah, one last chance for it, diving onto the point. Awakening up top AC, Beans back truck as well. It all comes down to these next few kills, 3 seconds left. Tatch has to get onto the point, but there are guns firing all over him.
These kills are so crucial, but Kremp will find one that will surely be the straw that breaks the camel's back. It will. Boston Breach find a way through eventually in the end because Kremp is 14-5. Half of those lives that Minnesota Røkkr had, well, have pretty much gone to the rookie. I mean, yeah, you were saying we talk about Awakening Beans, but they didn't have to do anything there. They're chilling. Kremp is slaying everybody inside the middle of the map.
Well, it forces Røkkr inside. That's the problem. And then Kremp and Vivid just went to work. Just absolutely destroyed any pushes. We saw Bance kept trying to make that solo play, kept trying to get through to allow his teammates a little bit of pressure off because he didn't want his ARs to run into those two. Just didn't work, just couldn't find the opening. Well, we've spoken about this. Technically, Boston are great on the attack, Røkkr on the defense. Is that going to play out?
Very, very crucial round. You can see both teams at their strengths. Tatch will find one on Awakening. Is there going to be a small break for Boston over towards the B side? That's what you try and have to concentrate on the break. Shots into a Tatch are absurd from Vivid. He's still going. The pressure still being put on over towards B. Minnesota Røkkr just about dealing with it, but can they deal with Vivid? Causing absolute havoc in the middle of the map. Not going to happen. FaZe will eventually break him down, but still, mid-map presence is here for Boston Breach, or was until Kremp died.
And now this is a crucial point for Boston. They want to get just forward enough that they can get this clock stopped. Awakening diving out towards the Tatch. Tatch should be able to play his life here, and he gets Awakening in the end regardless. Vivid will have to get on the point as he does find a Tatch himself. Clock is stopped.
Oh, Beans has just wiped out the flank that was coming in from Minnesota Røkkr. FaZe and Bance, both on the flank, both get wiped out by Beans, and this should probably be gone. Boston Breach looking good. The Tatch now in a position to do something about it, but the rest of your teammates are way, way far away at this stage. Boston Breach should be locking in now.
I think Røkkr are going to swing at this. You're going to see the players going towards green just in case. But they will give this one chance, one opportunity, and that is the wrong corner, and Beans takes down FaZe. A has gone.
That's all on Beans. Finds the 2 kills on the flank. Finds the last one to lock it in as well. But Minnesota Røkkr still have to squeeze here. A couple of kills to fall their way will not be anything too bad. But Kremp, an awkward little position now. Minnesota Røkkr, do they have a read on it? You can see FaZe's checking. Yeah, he's checking around for it. It's a big kill to come through. Now the rest of Boston can start to filter over towards that field side. Minnesota Røkkr with mid-map control, though, in a position to do something about it. But Beans kill the flanker again.
And this is where it gets dangerous for Røkkr. They've lost a little bit of map control. They lose the next trade. This may very well be gone. Awakening on Overwatch. Players getting into this point now as well. Røkkr looking for it. FaZe will find one. Beans gets it back on the Cammy. And FaZe will find all 3 in the end as well. And Awakening now left alone in a sea of Røkkr. Finds his first kill, but no more as FaZe finds all 4. That's a 5 streak for him. And they hold on.
Even the 1 kill from Awakening is not too bad, though. It did well. I thought it would relent the pressure, but Tatch and co find the kills over towards the field side. 43 seconds to go. Lives in the favor of Minnesota Røkkr right now. Map positioning in the favor of Minnesota Røkkr. In a really good spot, but it takes 1 4 down. Boston Breach is the #1 attacking team in the game on LSELO control. I've got some work to do here in round number 2.
FaZe still playing this position, just keeping them off. And now finds another kill. He has been lights out. That's a 6 streak for him. Still looking, still cooking. Will fall to Vivid.
This is
not over.
This is bad. At worst here for Boston, you're going to have to get this streak invested from FaZe coming in off the respawn. More kills starting to come through. Tatch trying to stay alive. Oh, it's a double beat down. The quick 1-2. Tatch finds 2. The streak having to come in. Still an opportunity for Boston.
Oh, Bance will find 2 himself, and that'll go into the spawn. Røkkr hold on. It could have been disaster, but not at that point. Tied up.
Tatch coming in with the kills when needed. Things got really, really scary, and that's what I mean when it comes down to control. You can be in complete control of the game. Things can be looking perfect. It's 1 4 down. But this is the moment that Tatch pretty much got them back into the round. Beans is like, yeah, I've been beaming all day, but you can't do much when Dylan Price is up in your face. Beats him down, finds the kills. 2 outliers for both the 2 teams. Everybody else really having a good game. You look at Cammy, you look at Awakening. Cammy sitting at 5 and 15, Awakening sitting at 4 and 8. Interesting stat lines across the board. A 1 apiece. These 2 teams finding their defenses so far. Can a team find an attack?
Oh, Bance already find a stun check on someone mid. He'll be calling that one out as well. And FaZe checks the right corner. Every single time we see him do it, he's checking the corners he needs to. And Røkkr now looking to make a move. They get a few kills, but the spawn for Boston is Cliff. So B is out.
Get the indication, so FaZe will say, let's go nice and safe. And I'll just keep farming where I can. Good hold here from Røkkr so far. Boston yet to really make any sort of inroads towards the mid-map, but Kremp, no right to win that gunfight and does so. Boston may have a chance.
Here for the retake as well. Cammy finds the kill eventually on the Kremp, but he is weak, trying to get out of it at the same time. It is a quick attack here for Røkkr. They've got A locked in. The long road, the 2 minutes to be.
Bance is on a little bit of a run here if he found that second. The opening just finds its way there for Minnesota Røkkr. Now Cammy just trying to clear out the bases. You can see Røkkr over on the wrong side of the map that they want to be on right now. Boston defended this from such a deep position in that previous defensive round for themselves, and will happily do that again. A lot of respect put on to Beans, because so many times you've seen players looking for him. You can see attach all the way over towards the cliff side. Wants to try and find that kill. They need to get rid of Beans from this position because it's such a power spot for the Boston side. So many things to worry about when you're going to try and deal with Boston and LSE or Minnesota Røkkr, yet to make any sort of inroad over towards B.
They're still looking for Beans. You can tell they were looking for him for so long. Cammy finds a kill on Awakening, but Beans will find attach, and this is a big kill for them as well. Fame will find it, puts them on the back foot just for a few seconds. Røkkr will look to capitalize. They find Beans as well. One player left. Oh my goodness, Fame is cracked. He's shooting his own teammates. Finds Vivid at the same time. Røkkr are in.
They managed to find a way through, but still some work to be done. A minute and 10 to go. Boston are going to have to find this from the back foot here. Beans finds one, Awakening another. It's too easy for Boston to break the defenses of Minnesota Røkkr over towards B. One tick in, 3 kills for Boston. And for all the good work that Minnesota did, they just crumble at the wrong moment.
They were desperate for that, but not a single kill to be found. Bance eventually left alone, had to get off the point. A minute has gone, lives are equal. And Røkkr had an opportunity, it has been squandered.
Kremp trying to find a way inside as Cammy. Now just trying to find some sort of presence for this Minnesota side in the middle of the map. It's a big hit over towards the A side, but you're running into the raid boss. That was Kremp, I want to say. You know, he was sitting at 14 and 5 after the first round. He's 18 and 20 now. That middle of the map battle is clearly being won by Røkkr after that first round. Beans now's trying to stay alive in a bit of a different position. They won't be expecting him here. He's usually top cliff, but here I am inside the field. Cammy finds one back, 22 seconds.
And over again, they're having to deal with him. He's playing the angles, he's playing the time. And speaking of time, Røkkr will have one last opportunity, but they are not close in numbers. Cammy will have to get onto the point, but he is alone, and he is down. Boston look to lock in this defense. There's nobody here from Røkkr, and surely they cannot run through the teeth and find all the kills. They will not. Cammy will find one. The time will be paused, but not for long enough, surely.
Cammy can't find a way through. Bance is the last lamb to the slaughter. Boston breach so resolute down that B side. Just can't get rid of them. So many times you see Beans playing towards the cliffside, he's playing top 10, and then you find a couple of kills in the mid-map and he's sitting over towards the wall in the corner. It's like, you can't get a read on it. 22 and 14 from Ben Beans. He's having a hell of a game, leading the lobby in damage. Oh no, sorry, he's not. Actually, it's Fame sitting there at 2,500. Awakening. And Beans not too far away. Awakening definitely stepping things up, playing the slow and steady role for his team, as has Cammy in that round as well. But Boston now the ones in prime position. They're over towards their more favored side on the attacking side. Can they find the attack to find themselves a lead in a series and find themselves leading and heading into a fortress outpoint?
And they're going for a B hit. It's a huge B hit. There are going to be flankers looking to shut this down very, very quickly, but they don't find the kills. It could be a disaster. Vivid will have to get out of there. Knows what's coming. Boss is still playing around there. That's another kill. Vivid says, all right, I'm back to the point. We're back into it. Cammy has to be the savior here for Røkkr, and he'll fall.
This is bad. It's really bad for Minnesota Røkkr. Vivid just trying to keep this pressure on. He may well get caught out from behind. Attach finds a crucial kill for Minnesota Røkkr now. But here come the utility. The trophy systems are down. Boston are inside the point. Boston are holding. The kill starting to come through, but it's going to be Fame to find 2. This is on the 1v1. Oh no, and Cammy just about picks up the pieces there for Røkkr. But Boston breach are within touching distance of B. That might be it.
That's it. There's no way for Røkkr to get back into that one. B is gone. The long hold on A now for Røkkr. They've got some of the best defense on this map, but not usually from this position.
How many times have we seen teams lose out on B early doors, but A is not an easy break when there is a full team dealing with it? It's very, very hard to find these moments, especially when you're looking over towards Attach at the radio tower. He is going to be the main catalyst for this Minnesota Røkkr side to find this round. Shots coming in from Beans. They will be looking for attach at every single moment that they can. Minnesota Røkkr don't have anybody over towards this bar side. The pressure will start to come through. Boston just holding, waiting for that inevitable push that may come from Røkkr, but waiting for this to come in. Attach is dead. Here we go for Boston.
They're now in a great position. Fame to try and hold it close as well, but Vivid on the flank finds the first, looks for a few more, and Bance is going to fall as well. Boston are in 8, almost uncontested. It's only going to be Fame who can do anything. He finds the first. Can he hold off Boston?
It's a slow and steady push from the side of Boston. They are quite happy to keep a hold of this map control. Vivid to find another. Minnesota Røkkr, one tick has already gone over towards the A side. You're going to have to start kicking in the gear very, very quickly. Cammy inside the pointer will find one of the Beans. The retake is incoming, and it has managed to be successful for Røkkr. Looking towards the kill side of things, they are all falling the way from Minnesota Røkkr, but right now they don't have radio control. Now they do. Well retaken from Minnesota Røkkr, and kills that just needed to be found.
Though, flanking again, refusing to relinquish this point at any time. And this is forcing Røkkr to spread across the map, try and hold so many angles for them. See Bance up top radio. Not a position you'd expect him to take, but he does have attack he found up there. Boston ready to stack this one more time.
Oh, look at this over towards the sheds. It's a big, big stack from Boston. And Vivid may just be the one that kicks them into gear here. Now Viv will find one. Vivid inside the point now. Everybody turn around. But then everybody from Boston can fill it down that side. Bance staying alive, but the rest of the team from Røkkr needs to be here to pick up the pieces. This is going in fast.
And Bance is going to have to move. He's going to have to get off radio. The rest of the team have to swarm in as well, because that point is going. Third tick on the precipice. Attach will find one, but I don't think it's going to be enough time. It's a contest. It's in by the tiniest of margins. Attach finds it. Kremp flies wide. Attach staying alive. Cammy comes to back him up. And somehow Røkkr have held for a second. The last killer has to be Bance. No! Boston Breach take the control away from them. And they now lead the series 2-1.
And Beans was an absolute enigma on the map there. So many times he's holding down the defenses on his own for Boston and then breaking them open on the attack for them as well. 29-19 from that young man is the difference maker in this one. The SMGs on the side of Røkkr tried their hardest, but the ARs could not get things going whatsoever. Beans and Kremp really the ones running the show for Boston Breach there.
And after a great map 1 from Røkkr, they have not found what they would like. They've been close, but close doesn't really matter on LAN. You have to get the win away from them. You got to remember here as well, what is up for grabs in this game. For Boston, Champ's already technically locked in, but for Røkkr, they won this one, they would guarantee themselves there.
It's a scary prospect. It's a scary prospect. It's a worrying one, though, for the side of Minnesota Røkkr, but the scum play of the game is going to be the end there for Boston Breach. On the attack, the best team in the game, and we got a good example of it here. I love the stack over towards the shed side, and then Vivid is already from behind. He then finds a kill. Røkkr have to turn around and respect it, and it's a big push from Boston. So there, okay, you're in control. That second tick is coming in. Røkkr have to do something. Attach tries to go into hero mode, but too little too late.
Yeah, Attach does find one. They do get into the point. Attach finds a second. And somehow the kills do not flow. Kremp being in this position with Beans overlooking. They find the kills. Beans finds his second. The third will line up for him.
All four.
And not even Bance can do anything as Owakening gets that last one. Beans went to work and never stopped. He was playing off angles. He was playing passive on the defense. On the attack, he was just being a problem. And I said this before the series started. We have seen this from them over and over again. Owakening not having a good time, but it doesn't matter because Beans did.
And both those ARs can have their moments to go off, can't they? How many times, I mean, have we spoken about Awakening over the CDL, the CW era? I think, you know, when we casted him way back, we knew this guy was going to be a problem for teams. Doesn't have a good game there, but it doesn't matter when Beans can pick up the pieces. Just a brilliant main AR performance from Beans in that map in particular. Boston Breach now in a really good spot for this series because, as I mentioned, in the middle of that control there, we're heading to a fortress hardpoint. And for me, Boston have looked pretty good on this map, but so have Røkkr.
Yeah, and that's kind of the difference here between these two. Do you really expect Røkkr to win the second hard point as well, especially with how Boston have been looking? It is now an uphill battle for them. They came back in the S&D. It was a close control at points, but Boston looked better. For Røkkr, a daunting prospect in this next hard point.
It's a hard one to deal with. We'll delve into the stats when we do get there, but when I think about Fortress and I think about Boston, I think about them challenging OpTic on it, feeling that confidence, challenging teams like Seattle on it, happy to go up against some of the big boys on this map. but it's really going to be about these rotations. Minnesota typically had struggled with those, but have got significantly better since Attach came back into this team. It's a hard one to call, but I think we might be having a map 5 because, well, why not?
What a way to end day number 1. A map 5 would be glorious, but who knows? We will find out as these teams stare down the barrel of going into the lower bracket. Awaiting them, the London Royal Ravens, but also in that lower bracket at the moment, and probably the biggest names in this tournament so far. OpTic and Thieves will face off. It is kind of a crazy prospect for those two teams.
I mean, look, we sometimes look at Friday like, okay, let's weed out some of the maybe more negative teams in here who are not going to do anything. A hellish amount of really solid teams down that lower bracket. Get my words out here, but looking over towards that first hop on, it was the SMGs for Minnesota Røkkr that got the job done. Boston Breach, the AR department, has been theirs for the majority of the game. But heading into Fortress now, it's a hard one to call. Both these two teams with not too bad records on this one, but Boston Breach will be feeling the more confident. Boston sitting at 6-8, Minnesota 8-8. Minnesota last in rotation overall, but it has got better. They will need to be better here if they want to force a map number 5.
Well, one more time onto the breach. Onto the anvil of war, these two teams will go. We start off with Boston on the slightly better side when it comes to P1, and, well, the nades rain and Vivid clears up.
Nicely done from Boston. The double nade over the top works perfectly over towards that side, and then all of a sudden you've got a perfect hold set up. A wonderful, wonderful break from Boston Breach now. Kremp, Awakening just running the show. The confidence is very clearly flowing. Minnesota Røkkr licking their wounds, just trying to get some P2 control. It's a big kill from Fame. Will relieve some of that pressure that Boston are putting on.
And this is it. After those first 2 kills have gone through, Boston are now locking the door. They have put the bolts upon them, and with already a lot of time going through, Bance will finally get into this point, get some time back, but they've already lost P2 control as well, Tom.
Yeah, you take 30 seconds off P1 and you take P2 control every single day of the week. Røkkr will get themselves into a decent enough position to try and break here. Attach will cause some issues. The rest of Røkkr now on their way over. For all that, Boston had that dominance towards the beginning. It's only 10-point or so lead as we head over towards the gallows.
And Awakening coming under serious fire, but he hasn't fallen yet. Eventually Attach will get him. Beans calls Kremp as well. And for Røkkr, an opportunity has found itself into this one. Unfortunately, the kill's not flowing to them as they would like. Bance on the flank, because that's where he does his best work. But still, it's not going the way of Røkkr.
And now it's flipped around the spawns because the rest of Røkkr do die. They probably want to keep a hold of those stables point and then have Bance on the flank. But because they all die at the same time, look where Boston Breach are now sitting in the moment. 30 seconds left to go over towards the P2 side. You're holding down the time. You've got the rotation over towards P3. It's a momentary disaster for Røkkr's. Awakening is absolutely frying them. They couldn't be further away from the next half point.
Gigawake has awoken. Wow! And it is just decimation on this point as well. Røkkr will have to get scrap time once again. But P2 to P3, it is the dagger, it is the despair and the nightmare for Minnesota.
And that first attack, that first break from Minnesota Røkkr was their downfall ultimately. Find themselves about 30 points behind, and well, it could be very much 60 by the end of this hill. But is the break going to start to come on through? Bance will find one. Beans can answer back with a kill of his own, but the pressure unrelenting from Røkkr. Beans shuts it down, Kremp alongside of him. And it's a good hold from Boston so far.
Looking for it again, trying to get through here. Bance will go around the corner, but down he falls. Nothing here at the time for them, and as they shoot every single direction, they manage to get on the point. Fame has been absolutely lights out for them so far. Holding them off at every single angle. He's been their star player in these respawns and finds another one we don't expect him to get.
A toe hold inside the point. Attach onto Beans as well, but Awakening may well just try to clean up here. 15 seconds to go, can find one. Surely he doesn't find the second. Fame is like, I do not want this gunfight right now. The ARs of Boston taking their turns of going up, but that's a minor win for Minnesota Røkkr there. You don't have rotation. All of a sudden you find a break. But once again, you do not have rotation here. As far as it goes for the Minnesota Røkkr, the worst team at rotating, we'll get a good example of this so far. It's 3 out of 3 hills. You have not found those first points.
Bance trying to hold them off here at this point for as long as he can, but his teammates not being able to back him up. Boston have the control, they have the positioning. And Awakening is having a game so far.
Staying alive towards this backside. Minnesota Røkkr, what is the plan? Things have been not working in your favor so far. What can you change? The SMGs maybe just haven't been able to get going. The ARs not having a good time either. Cammy sending a 3-11 is the glaring one. But the break has started to come through. Cammy with 2 kills to maybe awaken Minnesota Røkkr. And for 20 seconds of scrap time, that Røkkr will get a hold of here now. This game is going to be pretty much tied by the time we get over towards Blacksmith, which is crazy in consideration that Boston Breach have had rotation over towards 2, 3, and 4, and yet do not have themselves a healthy lead.
That's been the crazy thing. We've seen the slaying go all the way of Boston. We've seen the rotations go the way of Boston, but yet 12 points is all that separates them. And now they look to lock this one down as well. Blacksmith is calling a tactical takedown. Fame Bance spraying with attack, trying to get the players. He knows he's here, but he'll fall as well. Beans finds 2 points in the end, and Fame, it's like, where have my teammates gone?
He's like, where are we spawning? Where are we sitting? In this one, as Boston Breach will get themselves the spawns over towards the P3 side, but crucially, with some sort of control, send Kremp up towards top window. It's a nice setup from Boston once again, but is the break potentially going to come through from Røkkr, who are somehow holding on in this game? It shouldn't be dead and buried by any stretch of the imagination, but they've kept it relatively close, considering where their positions have kind of been lying off the break. Thatcher's done well to find a breakthrough himself, but he's the only one who can find a kill. And this is the first time we've seen Boston really flex that rotation on Røkkr this time. It's a solid 40-point lead now, when it was only sitting at 10 before we headed over towards Blacksmith.
It certainly is. But let's see. All right. Well, I believe that is what is known as a remake. No, I don't know what happened. No, I don't know why either.
Why did you do that?
I don't know, honestly. I've not had great luck in the last 24 hours, as you know, and apparently I've caused this, but all right, we'll let you know what's happening as soon as we know what's happening, because I was enjoying that hard point, but it doesn't matter. We move.
Well, let's think about it, though, because, like, for me, Boston Breach will be disappointed because they... Well, it started brilliantly. They were kind of doing everything right in terms of these rotations. We're doing some really good work over towards the Blacksmith side. But the rotations weren't really resulting in the points we would have expected. P1, beautiful break off the rip. You know, we love those grenades that go towards the top side. Find themselves 30 seconds uncontested at P1. P2, perfect rotation. You don't really let anything happen. Really good hold comes through. You pick up some decent time. Yeah, okay, you lose the break eventually, but you start spawning towards P3. That's 3 hills in a row. You're either the first one there or the rotation comes through. You head over towards P4 after being broken. So many times the breaks have come through from Røkkr for some scrappy time, but some scrappy time that kept them in the game until we went to Blacksmith. Boston are very much there on the rotation. Minnesota need to do something, and when we do head back in, we'll try and find out what's going on. But Boston will be feeling still confident if we go back in very, very shortly. All
right, here's all the information I can give to you now. There is an investigation going on. We are going to go to a break. When we return, answers, gameplay, glory, and more. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Major here in Toronto. There has been some hijinks and some shenanigans flying about in the arena, but here's what's going on. There was lag during the game. It's always unfortunate, but it does happen. So we'll be having a full replay of the hard point. That is the ruling. That is what has been done. Let's get it over with and move on.
They won't be happy. You can see Beans, yeah.
He's saying, oh, I cannot believe this has happened. That is very unfortunate, teammates.
My goodness gracious me. How come we have to replay this? Yeah, unfortunate.
Oh, dearie me.
I mean, Boston will be not too happy with that. And, you know, rightfully so. They were in a good position there. But at the same time, they will look at how they played this one out. Rotations were no problem for them. They were outplaying Minnesota Røkkr. Minnesota Røkkr were keeping things scrappy there. Very much so. They were keeping themselves in it by pretty much just being punchy throughout. But rotations were not coming through, which has been a huge problem for Minnesota Røkkr on this map and continues to be. But they're sitting at 2-0 with this man on your screen in the team on this map. So they obviously feel some confidence from it. Was the lag affecting them maybe in a certain kind of way? I don't know. But Boston Breach rotations were looking good. If they can do that again, they should be in the same spot.
Okay, there's something I'm going to point out here while we get this game locked, loaded, and ready to go.
Come on, then.
And it made me remember it when I looked at Attach just now in the player cams. He has to wear Looney's jersey. Do you know why?
Why?
I believe he got rid of his jersey once he was dropped. Wasn't really expecting back in the roster this season at least, so has to borrow a different jersey in the end. But interesting story, kind of like the rise for like a phoenix back into this roster. Let's see if Attach has it in him though. Maybe he earns himself a new one for champs.
Maybe they can hook him up with something different. If they, of course, do qualify for champs, which they will do so with a win against Boston. I believe we are loading in again. I feel like the issue has been fixed, or at least that's what the teams think, so let's see. As we head into, well, Vision 2 of Fortress Hardpoint. Last time around, it was all about these rotations from Boston Breach. They were very much there at every single stage. If they could do it again, they'll be in a really good spot. As we load in once again, very, very shortly. Just testing a few things out still. I thought we were loading in the game production. You've sold me down the river here.
It's a test. Let's find out though. Let's talk about the players in this series. The beautiful, brilliant Beans. This is Beans' player profile.
Lando, and today I am joined by Boston's finest Beans from the Boston Breach. Buddy, how you doing today?
I'm good, you know, just working every day, getting better, all that.
Well, you just finished up your first major with the squad. You get a top 4 placement. It's also your first time on the main stage. For you and for the team, what were some of your biggest takeaways, you'd say, from the Texas major?
Probably just getting comfortable on the main stage together. Obviously, for me, it was my first time on the actual main stage, so it's a way different atmosphere to anything I'm used to. And so sometimes you tend to play situations differently. You're like, it's not really nerves, but it's just different. So when you get put in a different situation, you play differently.
It feels like you've kind of been in a situation where you've had to adapt quick really throughout your entire life. Like I watched a few interviews that you've done. You've traveled around the world growing up. Many don't even know that you actually lived in Dubai for a while. How has like that lifestyle impacted both who you are in game and out of game in the situation that, like we said, you've been in for the last month?
I think it's like I can like adapt to new people very quickly. So I can like make friendships and relationships really quick. So obviously moving countries, moving continents at such a young age, really helped with that when I was like 12 or 13. And throughout that time, I was obviously still playing COD, so I was meeting loads of new friends and stuff. And through that, went to a couple LAN events out in Dubai. And then going to the main team, it's yeah, just new faces, completely never spoke to before, and just getting to know them quick and creating that bond as quick as you can. The more comfortable you can get, the quicker it's easy, because then you can pick apart plays and stuff. Because when it's early doors, sometimes you're like hesitant to say stuff, or you can't really get comfortable with the team. So the faster you can do that, obviously the better.
Well, I will say, aBeZy, I feel like you've had a great impact so far on this team already. You helped get this team their first Game 5 victory of the season. You helped give Breach their first franchise win over the LA Thieves. You helped deliver Breach their second ever finish above a top 4 or at a top 4. But I'm sure for you, right, the goal is something that is much greater than this. If you could pinpoint one thing that the squad needs to do in order to deliver the Boston Breach their first championship in franchise history, what do you feel like that is?
The main thing is good habits. So like, practice what you play. Don't, you know, it is fun sometimes to have some fun times in scrims and do some random stuff, but getting in good habits all the time is probably the main thing. You know, we made some mistakes at Major 3 that we never would make in practice, you know, but that's just the way it is. That's just, sometimes the moment can get to you. There's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of external factors. You just won't make the right play all the time. That's just the way it is sometimes.
One of my favorite parts about your addition to the other 3 beans is the passion that you provide. It feels like you were always one to get up, get loud, yell across the stage. Where does that fire as a competitor stem from?
I create these like mental battles in my head with every team I play against, as if, you know, they're the ultimate enemy. Right. I don't know, this comes within. It's nothing like you plan on doing, really. It just happens. A little bit different from the main stage, because in the pit, in challenges, there was actually a bit of mental game to it. You know, like roaring, shouting at people. To some people, would actually get in their heads. Whereas on the main stage, they can't hear you. You can't hear a thing, obviously, with the soundproof headphones. So it's not really the same. But you know, it's for the team. It's just passion. It's, you know, even when you're losing, you don't stop that passion. You keep going.
Anything you want to say to the CDL, maybe to the Boston Breach fans out there?
Thank you for all the support. Obviously at the major, even at Major 2 when I wasn't in the main team yet, it was really good seeing all the fans. Major 3, it was really good taking pictures of everyone. It was awesome. I really appreciate it, and keep supporting. We'll be here all year.
I'll tell you what, Beans, you've earned a fan here. I got my Breach mask. I'm excited for you guys. Good. Excited for you, man, for the rest of the year. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us today.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty League. I know you have been patient, so have we, but finally, I believe the issues are sorted. The gremlins in the machine have been put to bed. There is no Ghost in the Shell, there is only Call of Duty. We will find out in this replay which of these 2 teams can walk away victorious. Hopefully nobody's chalked.
I thought we were blaming Maven.
We're always blaming Maven. That man has got claw-like hands right now. He's been playing so much recently. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Here we go then. Back in again. Just to reiterate, as we head back in, it was Boston Breach in the commanding position. But how is that going to affect them mentally? Are they still going to be locked in? Rotations were very much there. And pretty much every single hill, they were looking great. Røkkr, where I said, keeping it kind of punchy. They were keeping themselves within touching distance through thick and thin. Can they manage to do it again here, though? They need to work on these rotations. They have not been in their favor whatsoever so far. They will need to find a couple here if they want to have a good game, because Boston Breach were pretty much in commanding position the entire time.
Well, you want to bet this is a different break from Røkkr. There's no way they're running into a double nade again. Look, same nade's going to fly out. Røkkr, they do. They don't go through gate. They go through top maps. Well, lessons learned. Paying out already.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't even throw that if I was Boston, because you just presume, right? And they're not going to make that push. But punish them if they do. Fool me once, shame on you, but yeah, you're not the same. Anyway, Minnesota Røkkr with a significantly better break here off the rip on P1 because you haven't been double naded. And there's the rotation from you already as well. The spawns for Boston Breach. Couldn't have went worse to kick things off. 30 seconds to go on P1. Minnesota Røkkr in prime position here for a PT rotation.
Kremp going for the reach out. 3 players against FaZe. FaZe does manage to get one before he falls down. They're still locking them in here. Got to make sure you have that P2 spawn locked as well. For Minnesota Røkkr, all the points on the board, P1 and P2 ready.
Can they find the breakthrough though? Touch just concentrating on what's happening over towards P1, but Bust and Breach not worried about that now. Bance is now starting to force a little bit away out of over towards the open side. Try and keep that pressure on, but you got to be careful of this street. Bust and Breach now in a good position to try and break something here, but Minnesota Røkkr not too badly set up either. Stable spawn's going to start coming through, so Boston's going to have to find something from the back.
Fame waiting. He knows players are there from Boston as well. They're now going to try and hold this down. See all of Røkkr stacking for it. They're wondering, where is the Boston pressure? Boston playing it slow and pulling Røkkr out of position. Just now, who wins the trades?
Fame is just trying to lock down inside the man. He's run into the nade as well. And there is the break from Boston. Minnesota Røkkr, what they did have was that mid-map control, but look at Beans. He gets the spawn over towards the street side, goes for the fight, finds the rotation. So now all of a sudden Røkkr, for what was maybe going to be a break, have to now find a rotation. You have to find these kills. Kremp is on his way. Did Kremp get through? He got through.
The timing.
Did he get through unscathed? Did they know he's there? They haven't got a clue.
Not able to find the second kill. Cammy starting off way better than they did last time around. 6 and 3 for them as well. 7 and 3 now, but Beans again for them. And while Røkkr will get that scrap time, it is now a knife fight for them. Attach, the only player here that can do anything is Bance takes down Fame. Attach falls as well. Boston in P3.
Yeah, they managed to find a way through. It was actually Røkkr the first ones here, but somehow Bance can find one. Boston managed to hold. Last time around though, Boston did have this rotation. Røkkr broke with around 30 seconds to go. It's all about the force through this towards the gate side and trying to get some sort of maps control. Here come the kills. Cammy and Attach working well, but as are Awakening and Vivid. They hold it down. 35 seconds remaining here. Boston will have a healthy lead heading over towards P4, but it's just a big hit over towards the gate side.
They cannot find their way in at all, and eventually Attach will take care of Vivid. Awakening, pressure now falling upon him. Finds the first. Attach versus Awakening, and Kremp will get it at the same time. It's better for Boston.
Nicely done so far. Minnesota Røkkr have had a couple of instances of nearly getting a hold of it, but Boston holding very resolutely. Kremp now up top, trying to find some break over towards P4. Minnesota Røkkr will have this rotation in, as they did it over towards P2. They are here at P4. So already a bit of a split when it comes down to these rotations, but Boston Breach are the ones with the lead after a great hold towards P3. And Beans is making it work for himself again. A bit of a slow stop, starting to warm into map number 4 here now.
Well, it's critical kills rather than number of kills, and right now Boston have found a little bit of a way forward. Cammy will take down Vivid before he gets to convert anything else, and Kremp versus Fame. Fame will find the kill as Røkkr hold on.
Now what's the plan now for Boston? How do you find a breakthrough here? You haven't found many kills, you haven't really found much of a foothold. One towards Gallows though may well help things out. Faye and Bance starting to run the show though, as they did in the first half point. It was all about the SMGs of Minnesota Røkkr, and they are starting to get into this one. But Beans with an SMG in his hand, and Fame will deal with him. No problem whatsoever, and Røkkr will have this final 20 seconds heading towards Blacksmith though. This time around, when we did play that first round of Fortress Hardpoint, Boston Breach got some ridiculous time over towards Blacksmith. Can they do it again here to retake the lead?
And that was all Beans. He just would not die on Blacksmith at all. Fame trying to stay alive. Then the player's going to be up top as well. Vivid is all right. I'm taking that away from you. And Bance now left alone, waiting for the respawn to come in. Before he makes a move, he's going to have to look for it, but Kremp takes him down.
He's waiting, sitting tight. The rest of the team to come to help him out. And you can see the squad now just pushing back towards that P2 side. They want to try and find a break from this side if they can, but Beans and Awakening managing to find the crucial kills. Beans in maps is just such an issue. And Boston Breach at this hill just seem to do it better than anybody else. But here comes the cruise missile that Fame earned over towards P4. Can he manage to find a break at P5 with it?
Every tag, every nade must flow towards these trophy systems. It doesn't find anything from them. Does put Boston just off kilter a little bit. They've had to move from the positioning as well, but they're still finding the kills. Røkkr, no luck, nothing so far in Blacksmith.
Yeah, it really hasn't worked out for them. They'd probably like to have another lead when we get over here once again, which we will do so. That's being pretty much nearly 45, 50 seconds from Boston, no problem whatsoever, and a lead for them as well. Flip side of the coin there for Minnesota Røkkr, though, they can start to set up with it towards P2, and of course P1, that is now just about to pop. But Beans inside the maps has been such a big issue for Røkkr to try and deal with. AR department, Boston are winning. SMG department, though. Feels like Minnesota Røkkr are kind of winning that battle for the most part, but Kremp in this sort of position, someone who can cause some issue.
And they're waiting patiently, Kremp, to get the positioning, but not able to find it already. Awakening now looking for anybody to push it towards mid-map as well, as Boston look to try and get something going on P1, as Beans finds a way through, finds Cammy as well. And now they have a bit of control. They can start moving around and looking for P2, Ton.
It's all really about these rotations that have been ongoing. Both these two teams have locked in some decent time. Minnesota Røkkr do sit at 4th in actually the breaking percentage, and they're going to need to have it again here by the looks of things. Or are they? They can get rid of Vivid. They can find this rotation with 15 seconds left to go. It's a very close map number 4, but it's one that Minnesota Røkkr absolutely need. They find the important kills. P2 is going to be theirs. Can they find some good time and retake the lead?
If Boston can break now, it will break the spirits of Røkkr. P2 locked in for them. 20 points to Boston, but the rotation is what matters. And Cammy desperately trying to stay alive already. Røkkr are being compressed, being moved back across this map as Boston look for them in positioning, but they are not finding the kills. Only Vivid finds anything. Cammy will get 2 as well. Beans alone going towards open. And Røkkr know they need to hold this. P3 was not good for them last time.
They may well have a breakthrough though. Fame has found a small crack in the defenses of Boston Breach, but Boston Breach have found absolutely everything else. Spawn over towards the gate side. It's for risk to P3.
And it's Bance versus Awakening. He knows players are going to be here. He doesn't know where. He is outnumbered, but is he outgunned? Bance will find nothing as Awakening and Beans shut it down towards gate. It is chaos. It is Gigawake. And that is the rotation again. Røkkr have not found it for the second time.
P3 is just being nightmare fuel for Minnesota Røkkr over and over again. Bance manages to find a breakthrough, but the rest of the team are just not there quick enough. Big kills coming in from Beans, who's on the stair side. Attach is trying to find a way through. He is shut down, and Boston Breach are starting to flex their muscles just a little bit, but maybe there's a break here from Røkkr.
They're looking for it. They've got numbers. It's Awakening holding it though as well, and he takes a little bit of a tag and won't get it in the end. 40 seconds left to go, and Røkkr have found their way through. Will it be a break back once again as Beans tries to find his way into this point? Nothing but a trophy system so far. They are stacked and ready. Fame and Cammy combining. Awakening will get attached, and it's a scramble for the point.
And they've got to now push over towards the point. So is that maybe the opportunity for Boston? The answer is no. It's a 5 spree from Cammy that finds Røkkr back into this game. They will have a lead when we go over towards cannons in 15 seconds time. And Attach is starting to find some kills on the outbreak to try and get themselves some sort of control over towards the middle of the map. Fame is the one who can maybe cause some issue here for Røkkr, sitting at 20 and 15. Him and Bance need to get themselves into bottom on and just try and cause absolute havoc.
Oh, this is it. They're trying to lock them in already. Fame gets the first kill out. 3 seconds, and Boston will take the lead once again for Røkkr. It's P2. It's moving fast as this game is coming down to the wire.
Need to get rid of Vivid over towards the backside. Attach is the only one for Røkkr who can find a kill. Good hold from Boston so far. They maybe be cursing themselves for not a better hold over towards P3, but P4 so far so good. Attach cannot find anything. Vivid down the banister. Finds the kills, and Røkkr just feel a little 1-by-1 right now. Boston with a great hold. 25 seconds remaining at P4. It's looking like all Boston so far.
They are not letting this slide at all every single time they can. Fame, though, will find his way in. They want this scrap time. He's looking for the last player. He's called it perfectly. A player behind him. He's firing everything he's got in towards this. Bance looking for that last player. They have got them off here. But while this game is close, we are over to Blacksmith. Boston last time held this for numbers.
They were phenomenal last time we found our way here. And if they can do what they did last time around here again, I mean, Vivid's just killing everyone off the respawn. That's 3 in a row from him off screen. That was slow down Røkkr in a push that they must find. Boston Breach are 30 seconds away. They locked down nearly every single second that was on offer at Blacksmith on this first rotation. They've done so far so good. Kremp staying alive. I haven't seen many kills in the kill feed for Røkkr, who will find the break. Boy, Beans needs to stay alive. It gets broken. The first time we've seen Røkkr get a foothold inside of Blacksmith.
And Røkkr have to play perfect. It's 2-8 to 208. This is the time where champions are made. Vivid looking to break back into Blacksmith, looking for some egress onto P1 as Vivid finds the second, not the third. Fame will shut him down, Fame will find the second. And Boston are locked back in that P3 spawn as P1 is just cresting the horizon.
Minnesota Røkkr now in a good spot to maybe force this map number 5. Kremp though trying to go up over towards the final few seconds. He will get them, but who's at P1? It's Minnesota Røkkr. They've got Boston locked back in. It is a 20-point game for both these two teams. It may well end at P1.
And now Boston have to get out. Vivid looking for it as well, but he's going to fall. One last roll of the dice for Boston. Can they find it? 9 seconds to go. Boston off of the respawn. One hit, one chance, one opportunity. Kremp finds the first. They're pouring out of the gate. They're not finding anything. It's just kill feeds. It's just Røkkr who take us to a map number 5 in the end. And they were down. They were broken. but they did not bow out of the stage, and they are not going to losers bracket yet.
We said map 5 was maybe beckoning, and we get what we wanted. Minnesota Røkkr so much better in the replay. Look, whatever issue was happening, clearly something was fixed for them, but that was fixed in their gameplay. Phenomenal rotations coming through and some better breaks as well. Breaking has been their strong point, rotating has not. And we got a good example of all the statistics for Minnesota Røkkr there. I feel like it's the break over towards Blacksmith towards the end that makes the huge difference. You're pointing at something on the screen, Bryce, you tell me what it is.
So, replays aside, they happen. The difference may have been Cammy. Started off in that first game, I think he was 0-7, 1-8, whatever the number was, it was terrible. But on the reset, 30 and 24. Huge amount of damage, 22 untraded kills in the end. Fame also had his day. And I think maybe Boston just lost a little bit of ice there on Blacksmith. They got broken and they got locked into the spawn.
And honestly, they played the beginning of Blacksmith like they did in the previous iteration in the first rotation absolutely perfectly. But it just takes one good break. That's all it takes when it comes down. Doesn't matter you're talking S&D, hardpoint control. It takes one good break. In Minnesota Røkkr, they found that break and they find themselves in a map number 5.
They certainly do. Well, a map 5 awaits us on day 1 of the major. It's always got to be this way between these two teams. Find out how it ends and how it all comes down to the wire right after this break. It's going to be glorious ton. I cannot wait for it. Don't go anywhere. More action here on the Call of Duty League. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. The major is happening right here in Toronto. It's a beautiful city. I have not seen an awful lot of it yet, but that doesn't matter. What does matter is we are going to a map number 5, Boston Breach versus Minnesota Røkkr. They have fought tooth and nail to get to this point, the longest series of the day, but it will all end here regardless. Map 5, S&D.
I think we may have taken, well, the so-called curse off Jay and Lando at this stage. We've had quite a few game fights. They have passed the torch on, and we are not too bothered about that. Tatch and Co forcing this S&D. 2 hardpoint wins for them, but it was the search and the control for Boston that has found them this far. Now, in my mind, how are Boston feeling? After how things have transpired, we can talk about it in that sense. It was difficult for maybe them to get themselves locked back in. They were in a really good spot. We had to go for a replay because of a technical issue. These things do happen. But how does it work for Boston? Where is the mental at with this team? It's a young team. The experience may not be there. Have they found the mental capacity to put themselves back into that zone for game number 5, which will be a hotel search and destroy?
Well, the winner of this continues on through the winner's bracket. They will play Florida in the next round in one of the upsets that happened earlier on today. The loser will go down and fight the London Royal Ravens. Both teams want this. They want to continue on. They want to be the winners. But only one can be. And as we move on to this map, the teams have had victories, but they've also had struggles, Ton.
They have to. They have to. I think, you know, looking at Minnesota Røkkr, the first bloods has been a really big issue. You're going to look towards Beans with the sniper for Boston, as that is going to be a really great equalizer for this side. Are they going to be able to find much with it? A lot of traffic over towards this B side. But look at this from Boston, Minnesota Røkkr. They've not bit. They've not taken the bait, and now Boston going to be wet.
Well, only Bance can do anything about it, but it has gone a little bit quiet here as well. Tatch looking for it as well, and he sees Kremp hugging that wall for life. We'll get out with it. But it is a 2-2 split. Boston have opportunity to go anywhere here.
And I'm curious, are Minnesota Røkkr now going to take the bait? Just maybe a little bit too late. Yes, they are. Crucial that Fame finds something here, but Vivid finds one on the Bance. Do they understand what's happening? Boston may well just rotate this one around.
Well, they could just get an extra kill here. There's no one really contesting as well, but Røkkr have called for reinforcements. It has been a bamboozling.
And Vivid has just done so much work. All this utility, all this time, all this effort from Røkkr, and the bomb is down at A. Wonderful from Boston Breach there to find just maybe a little bit of an ingress in Vivid. Well, he is eventually going to be stopped in his tracks. It's now a 3v3 retake for Røkkr to try and pull off.
This is a horrible retake to do as well. Røkkr, but to time it correctly, Fame will get Beans. Down to 3 versus 2, Awakening, sitting on Marble Heady. It is always a position that you see players do so well on, but Fame for the last one. Now Kremp last alive. He's tagged up, he's down. And Røkkr, with an incredible retake, they were bamboozled, they were led astray, but eventually find their way back into the point and get the first round.
Led down the garden path there, Bryce, you're very, very right. Røkkr, I think it's all happening over towards B. I want to give so much credit to Vivid. Finds the kill, and he's in kitchen. He's just like, boys, I am sitting tight. I am causing some problems. But ultimately, for Boston Breach, you got to hold that down. You've got to hold that down. And what we didn't really see from them, okay, we've seen one player push up towards the bedroom side, but as soon as they lose that, no bedroom control, no SMG to slow down the retake from Røkkr, they just grab a hold of it and run. Find the kills. Awakening gets forced back, has to force back. You've lost bedroom control, you have to sit back and maybe try and find an angle. You can't do so. It's a really nice retake from Røkkr, but almost a little bit of a fumble from Boston.
And now, as we go into this next round as well, pretty familiar, Beans with a sniper rifle in the S&D. If he starts hitting with it, it causes problems for Minnesota. They won't want to challenge into the entire approach from where they want to go. Right now, both teams, though, being a little passive, waiting for that information.
Nobody really wanting to give anything away here. Bance has found himself in a useful position, but is he going to be aware of where Kremp is sitting? The answer is no. First blood over towards Boston again. And now Minnesota Røkkr, after wasting all that time, after trying to find a pick. 45 seconds remaining in the round is all you have to play with, and you are a man down.
Oh, and they find him as well. Fame will get him. It goes back down to a 3 versus 3. Boston had the advantage. Kremp still sitting in a good position, though. Has dead silence, has an opportunity. Bomb will go down for Røkkr, and he doesn't get it before they get out of there.
Didn't even see him. Went for the check with Deddy, and Deddy is being wasted. So now all of a sudden, Minnesota Røkkr, they haven't had the luxury of being able to push up towards the bedroom side. They've had to drop back, but the angle will be good. For a player inside a reception, you would like to think. You have to try and find a retake. It's all on Vivid to find something. Dead Silence being popped by him, but they're just going for a big hit over towards the bomb site. They need to try and find some control. They're hitting each other here as well. Awakening on the Cammy, though, this is still doable.
And they're left alone. This is all the control taken away from them. Minnesota Røkkr left Cammy for the island, and he finds the first kill. That's had to get the second and the third. Røkkr don't need bomb site control. They just win the gunfights.
Starting to play that angle from reception. We're seeing it more and more in the CDL now. Teams default towards that bedroom control, but this one is just as effective. You invite that defensive team who are trying to retake. They have to come to you. And well held from Minnesota Røkkr. Find themselves 2 to the good. Boston have not been able to get a lot of luck over towards this A side. Røkkr running the show. It's Fame and Attach on their side of things. 4 kills apiece. Nothing to be spoken about from Bance and Cammy so far, but they will care very little. Røkkr in the driving seat now.
Well, let's see. Can Boston find something on their own attack? This is a heavy hit for them this time around. They put the players in the position. Minnesota Røkkr looking for something back as well. Cammy trying to deflect it at the same time, but already players have got through.
Is anybody there to answer Kremp if he does something about this? The push may well come through from that top bedroom side. Cammy now just trying to stay alive. Here comes the push, but Fame is there to back him up as well. Shots into Beans will back him down. But Kremp, surely he's going to make the move very, very shortly. Goes for one into attachment. Now they know he's here. Kremp is going to be the one that maybe wins the round for Boston. Røkkr have to back down. Boston can get some control. 3v3, this is anyone's game.
Cammy will find Beans, but Kremp still alive. Røkkr do not want to engage. There's too many corners, too many opportunities to take it down. And Fame versus Kremp, both injured, both weak. He wants to reach out, he's desperate for it. It's 2 versus 3, but he decides discretion is the better part of Valor as he moves and shakes one more time. That bomb is down for Boston, but it is not good. 2 versus 2.
Big win from Awakening. Needed to take down Bance there, or the round is chalked. Bomb not in a good spot. Røkkr in a great one. And what's the play going to be? Oh, Cammy's towards the back. The shot's starting to ring through. He gets out as well. 12 seconds. But is the opening being there for Kremp? It is not. Fame's going to find him, and all of a sudden Awakening has got it all to do. No time to plan. Plenty of time for Røkkr to waste. Minnesota Røkkr, 3 rounds to the gut.
And Fame playing with them there. And it was just too many bodies, too many angles. Cammy for the reach out, by the way. Gets that final kill down. You'll see him. He gets out of there with his life somehow. Awakening cannot convert. And then jumps back across. It was Fame got the last kill, but they were looking for both angles.
It was Fame who found the kill when Kremp was trying to find that push. The time had been whittled down so well from Røkkr. And what I really liked about it is that Kremp, honestly, finds himself in a phenomenal position for Boston Breach. He's up top in bedroom. You're just thinking, when's he going to try and make the snap? When's he going to try and make the play? Røkkr just do not give him an inch. They know he's there. They do not fall into the trap. They sit tight. They sit patient. They find themselves 3 rounds to the good. Fame on a full spree himself, sitting at 6-1. And it's that slow push from Røkkr that, well, somehow worked out in the previous attacking round. They're trying to make it work here once again.
Now they check the angles. They're worried. They know Beans has been up here before. Dead Silence has been popped. This is not an easy push to make, though. Oh, he does the Awakening. Will he get it in time? No. Has the advantage of cover, and Bance will go down. 0-4 so far. First blood to Boston.
It's another first blood to Boston. That's now 3 out of the 4. And yet they find themselves behind. It has been a problem for Røkkr, these first bloods, but, well, they're getting the rounds. Can Cammy find something onto Awakening now as this push over towards B seems more and more likely? Boston Breach are going to start making maybe some inroads over towards this side. Vivitros trying to stay alive. He's a slippery little snake inside of Kitchen. Is he going to get caught though? Yes, he is. No information over towards the pantry side. Awakening and Boston going to have to go for the retake in a 3v3.
This bomb goes down in time as well, though. Awakening towards the back, looking for Attach. Attach, been tickled up and taken down. Kremp will get one onto Cammy as well, and only Fame left alive. A 1v3 potential as he flies out of the back. And Boston lock it in, and a lot of that's on the back of Awakening.
Yeah, really good play from Awakening, but I love what Beans does there. They know that Fame, you can't just sit in Kitchen. He's going to push out some way or another, and Beans is there holding the pre. And they will find a round. Boston Breach eventually making use of these first bloods that they found. 3 out of the 4 rounds so far, but it's the first round on the board for Boston.
Has
the first time they can make it.
The pile of eggplants? Or aubergines?
Aubergines, yes.
Only in the UK.
Weird observation. A weird observation. I think it always has been there, but it's usually been taken down by plenty of shots ringing
I've just never noticed it before.
Well, okay.
They might have added it in for Major 5. You don't know.
You know, I was going for observations of First Bloods, but if you want to talk about the vegetables on top of the counters, you can go ahead.
Hey, they look good. Well. Anyway, you are right. First Bloods are making the difference into this one. But now we have Boston on the attack.
Fame sitting at 8 and 2. He's up close quarter battles between him and Kremp. Been well fought, but this time around it's a bit more shocking off on Boston Breach over towards the B side. Plenty more control this time. It's Vivid. The tip of the spear for Boston. He has a little bit of backup from Kremp this time. And I think Boston are just maybe waiting to see if these players can make something work, but no, they're waiting because there's a cruise missile in the sky. Bend it like, well, I was about to say it back. It doesn't work out for Fame this time around, but it has slowed down Boston.
It has, but Boston have all the control here. If we win a gunfight, this bomb will go down. Fame playing patient. He knows he's already lost control of the back. Bance trying to hit his own flank as well, but he's been seen. Boston will put this down with no contest. However, 2 kills fly towards them. And that bomb was taken off as well. Røkkr swing into action at the exact time they needed to.
It's a single point of health for Cammy that he survives on. Kremp can't find the gunfight, and now they're searching for him as well. Awakening, he's already been butted up, but now Vivid is he the one that can maybe find something for the team. He gets taken down. Fame is being on an absolute tear. Stops the bomb going down and just stops Boston dead in their tracks. He's 10 and 2 in map number 5.
Unbelievable. Røkkr have full control of this over and over again. Boston had the map control. They had the positioning. They had players into a top and bottom beds, and it looked like that bomb was going down. And then you flip a coin, the entire game changes. 2 kills from Røkkr.
Now, Minnesota Røkkr actually played this twice since the roster change did come through, since Attach came into the roster. Fame has struggled hugely. In those 2 maps, he's sitting at 0.4. The guy's 10 and 2 now. Whatever change-up, whatever role they made, Fame tried to take up in those last 2 maps. Hey, I don't know if it's the same one, but this time around, it's working out quite beautifully. Big hit over towards the A side. Fame will find another kill before getting taken down. This is a big fight over towards the A side. Bance just surviving behind the box, and Kremp can do very little about it. Minnesota Røkkr now just taking down to 2. It's now 2 versus 2.
Beans with that sniper made the difference, but Kremp has been spotted him. Attach will fall. Bance left alone in a 1 versus 2. No bomb. Can he make the plays his team need at this moment?
He knows that Beans has a sniper. He's just going to head towards him. It's easy pickings for Bance. And now in a 1v1 versus Kremp. It's experience against speed. Bance doesn't have the bomb though. Can Kremp do anything about this? Dead silence has been popped. No information for Bance. Is he going to check the right-hand side? Ships in the night springs to mind. This bomb's going to go down, but Kremp's going to be there in time. Boston with a round back.
And he finds it perfectly. Just no cover, no opportunities, no idea where Kremp has actually gone. So he goes for the fastest plant he can, and Kremp calls it. Must have known that bomb was down there as well, knew what was going to happen. But that's another round on the board for Boston, one they desperately needed.
I think when they find Fame, he's typically been the bomb planter so far in this game. Boston Breach will have done their research. He falls. They know that bomb's probably going to be going down over towards that A side. Kremp can then play around that. Presumes that Bance, well, he's probably pushed through the mid-map to find the kill on the Beans. He deduces that he won't have it. Has to then wrap back around, but now what's this going to be? This time around, Boston Breach preparing for what would be the mid-map push from Røkkr. That does not come. But Boston can get some control of couches, try to start to dictate and slow down Røkkr's approach towards the safe side. Can maybe make things a little bit easier for themselves, but they can also go in any which way direction they want to go in. B is relatively open. Bance will be there to maybe slow things down, but A seems to be the option now for Boston.
So much control here from Boston again on this point. Kremp trying to hold it off. He has to back off because of Beans. Kremp looking for the same kill as well.
It's an opportunity to get the bomb down. They haven't went for it.
That's because Boston are just trying to lock this in before they get anything done. Cammy, it's been hurt, but somehow wins that. And another fight towards the bottom. Kremp will get it back to a 3 versus 3. Boston still in control of this point, but Cammy will find Vivid as well. They cannot kill that man in luggage.
Humongous kill from Cammy, and it's another one from Attach. Awakening trying to make something work. Boston Breach trying to jot all the I's and cross all the T's to get the round done, and Kremp's not going to do this one. It's a 5-2 lead to Røkkr. And I think it's easy for us to say when we can see where the players are on the map. But as soon as they force Fame away from bottom lights, I think that's the moment to try and get something done. You've got couches control. You've moved them out of bottom lines. Yeah, okay, you maybe don't have luggage, but you have a good opportunity behind the bomb to get it down. They don't go for it. And Minnesota Røkkr find themselves in match point. 5-2 up.
Cammy's only 4-4, but he's been such a problem for them. Just won't die in luggage. But this is it. Røkkr, 1 round to victory. Cammy and Fame, damage not that far apart either.
Yeah, and that's the discrepancy. Cammy, as you said, he's just been an issue over towards the luggage side. Issue for Røkkr, they don't have a hold of the bomb. We're just trying to slowly, methodically find a route that works for them. Boston have fully committed over towards this A side. It may well be a foot race over towards the kitchen. Minnesota Røkkr will not hit this quickly. They will not presume it's completely empty. Kremp has now found his way over. The bomb has found its way into Fame's hands as well. And now Røkkr with control of kitchen. This bomb may well be going down very, very quickly. Kremp could do with finding something. He will find nothing but hit. Marquez will have to back down, but it will be a 4v4 retake that Boston must fight.
And now they are all in. Everywhere onto it. Tatch has already been seen. That nade is going to hit him. Managed to get out of there as well. Røkkr actually giving up a little bit of control here. Boston will have to spring into action. And Bines will find Cammy in the first. Kremp finds Bance. And it has not worked out. Nothing here for Røkkr. Only attached for a 1 versus 4. But he's running scared. He does not have the positioning, the teammates, or anything else. And that's it. It's going to be done surely as he backs off in the end. And Boston, a beautiful retake.
Yeah, very, very well played from Boston. And I want to give most of the props there to Kremp. Senses the danger and doesn't get too involved. No need to try and slow things down if you've got everybody there for the retake. And the first kill in that retake is so crucial. Beans has yet to really arrive on this map. It arrives there with a wonderful snipe inside of kitchen. And that opens things up very, very nicely for Boston to then pick apart Minnesota Røkkr, which they did so very, very effectively. Now Røkkr back onto the defensive side. Still 1 round away from themselves. Boston still need 3 in a row.
And again, positioning, playing. Tatch looking for something here, but he could fall foul of the Boston players lurking. Oh, it's a double nade for him, and Attach stunned up, but not done, and he tries to get out of there, and he will fall. Attach, too much movement.
Brilliant. Brilliant from Boston. They put the utility into it, and the call will be his top catwalk, and Kremp just peeks his little head out and will happily take that kill. And now things do they get nervy here for Minnesota. Bance is holding the angle. He just has to win this gunfight. Straight off the rip, Kremp will give him the shoulder, and Boston will just put the pressure on. Vivid will find a kill. Cammy can find 1, cannot find a second. And it's looking like Boston with another round. Fame now with a 1v3.
They are turning back up in this S&D. And Fame left alone, trying to find the kills. Owakening chatting. Owakening a little bit weak as well. It's Beans and Owakening versus Fame.
13 rounds left in the Vaz. Go for the reload. It's the 1v2, but they're kind of going 1 by 1. They're playing with them just a little bit. Has to go for a chow. Has to try and find a kill. Time whittling down, but it's still 24 seconds. This is still doable.
He has to find something, but he won't. Owakening brings another point back for Boston. The S&D is never over until it's over. And nothing Røkkr is doing is working.
Over towards the A side, it's been pretty dominant for Minnesota Røkkr. And yet, we aren't going over there and they're starting to lose rounds. Look, B seems to be in the control of Boston every single time, whether that be on attack or defense. They are working around that kitchen just that little bit better. Røkkr now, that lead was 5-2. It's now 5-4. Boston's starting to get themselves back into this one. No streaks to really worry about, even though that these rounds have started to go in their favor and headed back towards the tried and trusty. The Minnesota Røkkr over towards the A side. Beans. No snipe in hand, but he's got the angle he needs. He can slow them down, he can get information, just needs to stay alive.
Bance already gone across, and that dead silence was popped for him as he tries to make the move at the same time. Awakening's going to be here. It's Bance versus Owakening. It's a big gunfight. Bance has to just leave. Cannot afford to be there anymore. And more nades right down onto the point as they try to stop this as well, but Bance eventually does find a kill. First blood for Røkkr.
They got off the bomb though, they were planning it, and now Fame isn't in a position to do so because of Bance's positioning. Beans had to reposition himself, which allowed Røkkr a small window to get that bomb down. That window may well have reopened. It's now a 3v4 retake. This bomb will go down. Boston have to find all 4 of Røkkr and a bomb defuse to stay in the winner's bracket.
They're looking for it now. Bance is going to fall. Vivid finds that first blood they need. 3 versus 3. 35 seconds on the clock.
It's all about staying alive. If you're attached, he's going to get taken down. That's 2 out of 4 done.
And they're challenging FaZe. They've got the numbers. He finds the first though. He finds the second. No! It's a retake! Boston do it again! It's back down to a 5-5. They cannot hold the line.
Sound the gong. It's a map 5, round 11 between Boston and Røkkr. They were 5-2 up if you're Minnesota Røkkr. How on earth has it got to this? They've just been so scrappy over towards the A side, but they fall apart when it matters. The wind is truly in the sails of Boston Breach now. They will start this round on the attack. Minnesota Røkkr will try and hold tight. And there was been a hellish resurgence from Boston Breach, but here we go, round 11, map 5, to end your first day of CDL Major 5.
And Røkkr are sweating. The nerves are frayed. Only one team can find it now. One round of S&D. And it has been beautiful so far.
And look at this brave play coming in from Røkkr. The talisman from them has been Fame. Gets himself into a very, very advanced position. Boston Breach with not very much map control here. It's been tentative. It's been nervous. And that's what you get in around 11 map 5. Who's going to be the team that breaks first? Boston's still yet to have any sort of inroad over towards any site. He is looking the more likely, but the information that Fame will be picking up right now is so crucial for Røkkr.
And he has bomb as well here, Beans. Looking to see if he can go through, and he will find the kill as well. That's bomb down. Minnesota Røkkr have the advantage in this last round. The rest of the team are now going over as well. There's going to be some hip fire, but stays alive, Fame, and there we Vivid again. Brings it back to a 3 versus 3. 20 seconds left to go. Boston have control.
But they've got to find Fame. They've got to find Fame down the phone.
It's over. It's done. Røkkr are going to champs. They take down Boston in a revenge game. It goes the distance. But as a wise man once said, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning.
Fame is the one who gets the job done. He was just so influential for the team throughout the S&D, and he's ultimately the one that wins it for them. Gets himself into such a good position, and the bravery, the confidence to put themselves, to find themselves in his rookie season on this new roster, to send you to champs in a map 5 round 11, to walk through it, put yourself in that position, which ultimately wins them around the game in their place in champs in this wonderful, wonderful season. What a game between these two.
And there wasn't a player in the house that wasn't fully clenched up during that last round. Boston, they played it patient. They left Beans on an island. They were not expecting Fame to have cojones the size of beach balls. Pushed through in a double desk by himself, by the way. An untradeable position. Finds the bomb. Stays alive against Awakening. And then it was ridden into Destiny.
The last 2 times that Minnesota Røkkr have played this map with this roster, Fame has dropped to 0.4. Yeah, have a 2.1 or something on your forehead in a map 5 round 11 win for Minnesota Røkkr to end Thursday. And what has been a crazy, crazy Thursday. Let's not get it twisted. Here at Major number 5, Toronto has not disappointed so far. A hell of a game to close out the first day.
It certainly is, and well, we're now going to throw it over to 2 of my very favorite people on the main stage. It's Bance and Lando.
Thank you, Bryce. Well, I'm being put in the same conversation with Bance. That is high praise, but buddy, what a game. What a series that was. Goes all the way down to the final moment. What, you guys were up 5-2. How did it feel to come away with the win and finally see that 6th round go your guys' way?
Yeah, it feels great. Obviously, we were 5-2 up. I thought it was going to be a 5-2 curse like other events for us, but we were able to ice up. We just kept messing up a few things, yeah, but it's all learning curve and one step closer.
Absolutely, one step closer, and I got to ask you too, man. I feel like everybody was waiting for this series, given the drama, the rivalry, whatever you want to say. Does it feel a little sweeter to beat the Boston Breach than maybe another team out there?
Yeah, it feels nice beating them, but there's no bad blood, obviously. Everything happened, it's in the past. They're a great team. Yeah, it just feels good.
Got to feel good. Now you guys are, what, 3-0 with Attach, now back in the lineup. Like, I know you guys obviously received a lot of criticism, right? I mean, all throughout the season, but specifically with this move, how good does it feel to obviously continue the winning spree, to kind of silence the doubters, I would say, when it comes down to this match?
Yeah, it feels good, man. Obviously, the team's clicking very well. I think we're now 6-0 in hardpoint. We're going on a little spree, and obviously, the Røkkr have been known to not be good hardpoint teams. So yeah, we just need to get our S&D on point, and then our controls kind of slipping off. As long as we get up to par, I think we'll be a real contender.
I want to ask you too, like, in relation to the hardpoint point, like, what is it about this team that's allowed for that? Like, is it communication? Is it anything in particular? Like, what do you cater that hardpoint streak to, you would say?
Vibes. Honestly, we haven't really gone too in depth on like what to do. We just trust each other. We're all very experienced, and just say fuck it if you want. My bad.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good, Bance.
We basically just say, if you're confident in the play, go do it, and just let us know what you're doing so we can pick up the pieces.
Absolutely. Well, I know you guys, with this victory, I believe now have 30 points of separation over Vegas. I think you have the head-to-head over Seattle. So, with that. So, you got to feel very good. You got to feel very good. How does it feel to secure champs officially now?
The pressure's off of securing champs. You know, Vegas, they weren't going down without a fight. They were on our tail the whole time. Yeah, it feels so good. I was stressed for a while thinking I'm not making champs, but it feels good. It feels so good.
Absolutely, man. Well, I got to ask you, thoughts on your matchup versus Florida? How do you feel like you guys square up against them?
Yeah, we're feeling confident. Obviously, they are a very good team. They've looked very good in scrims. We've said it for a while. They look very good in scrims, but so have we. So, yeah, I'm excited to match up.
Definitely. And anything you want to say to some fans? You got some prior Toronto fans out here. You got some Minnesota supporters as well. Anything?
Toronto fans, I love you guys. Even though I'm a part of the Minnesota, you guys have a very special place in my heart. I appreciate you all. Thank you.
That's going to do it from us here on the main stage. Bance, the boys get it done. Desk, take it away, guys.
Thank you so much, and make some noise for Bance one more time. Big shout out to the fans who are here bright and early, lining up around the block. We had 4 series today and a lot of unexpected results here. Let's start with you, Jay. The whoopee cushion comes out in game 4. We do a quick reset.
Yeah.
You never win the reset if you're Boston, and that forced that game 5.
Yeah, that was the scary part because the flawless start to that Fortress HP, they hit the frags over the top. They were great on the P1 to P2, but like you said, when you play the reset, it never goes in that same way. But then when you get to the game 5, like Boston Breach, they used to be great at search and destroy. Yeah. It's just like their decision making is so damn slow. Like, put the bomb down, make the play come to you.
Unacceptable.
So, that match is done. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but we want to revisit the start of the day. Everyone knew Vegas Legion was the team chasing the front 8. Could they catch up? Well, they had to match up against Atlanta to start the day. And once again, Ant, you covered it. 12-2 overall leading up to this matchup. It's now 15-2. That was pretty easy for Atlanta again.
They absolutely cooked them, right? You think about that series and you're like, all right, Vegas, they have some potential here. When you get into that map, it's aBeZy. And they did. They took the lead after the second rotation on P2. What happens? The improvements from FaZe. 3 hills in a row where they win the rotation. Yep. The skill comes out from players like Cellium and aBeZy. And Slasher had an incredible series. I mean, the guy went 10-1 in the game 2, gets the streaks in the search and destroy. TJ nades himself, and then at that point, you're completely checked. There's nothing you can do if you're Vegas at that point, down 0-2, losing some of your better maps.
Allie, FaZe is consistently top 3.
Yes.
Are they now the favorite to win this winners bracket? I'm looking through. A lot of the top dogs got knocked out.
I mean, yeah, I'm right there with you. I definitely put them in that conversation at this point simply because I've been one of the, haters when it comes to Atlanta FaZe and their respawn. And certainly I saw in that map number 1 that they were focusing on the fundamentals, and that's all they simply needed to do. They have the talent. Slasher has shown up to play in our final majors. I mean, top 10 in KDs heading into it, showing once again today as well he is a Lanimal. So Atlanta FaZe, I mean, looking disgusting after this first matchup.
So that means Atlanta plays Toronto tomorrow. Las Vegas will play actually in our losers bracket tomorrow. Atlanta and Toronto will play on Saturday. Yeah. Back to the original thought here. The Friday matchup is going to be between Vegas and, of course, the Surge. Who's making it into champs? Tune in tomorrow to find out. You'll also get a chance to see your Toronto squad taking the stage a second time, but you have to wait till Saturday. It's the Subliners coming out on the losing end of this one.
Yeah, this was a banger. The best matchup of day number 1, in my opinion. It came down to that hotel control. 2 of the best hotel control teams that we have in the game, and New York had the advantage. They should have won that one. They threw too many bodies at A at the very end, ends up biting them in the butt. Now they find themselves in a loser's bracket. How many times are we going to be saying the same thing about New York, though? You have the advantage and you throw it away. I'm expecting them to tighten some things up when they get to the loser's bracket.
It's insane to say because New York, they already won a major. They've been one of the most consistent teams that we had all year long. 4th in every single category. But the only thing that they're missing is simply ice, bro. Again, 1v4 to get eliminated at the last tournament. You're up 25-12 in lives remaining with only about 30 seconds left. You only should allow Ultra to get 1 push, and that 1 push is all they needed. Subliners, once again, let this one get away from them.
Alleycat, is there a leader on this team who can step up and avoid those issues before champs? You only got a month to perfect your game.
Perfect your game, I mean, I don't know how much you can teach ice to somebody, especially at this part of the year, especially when they're so aware of it. At that point, it's a mentality block, but what I really want to talk about is the 3-0 we saw on the day that I don't think anybody expected the name about to come out of my mouth. Fuck it.
The Florida Mutineers, the hottest of 3-0s, came out today. I saw it coming, and only because I talked to Felony. He said, you know what? The online match, we felt good, but no one played great. If we play individually well, we're going to be OpTic. Today, they showed everyone that Florida is here to play for some serious money with $500,000 on the line. This is their chance.
Yeah, I mean, I think we saw OpTic face a little bit of adversity. You lose a map that you've been dominant on, that you feel like is a lock in a series, and then what happens? Now you're going up against an underdog that has confidence, who traditionally has been good at search and destroy. You're now down 0-2. So for OpTic, I think it just got away from them a little bit on that map number 1. The guns are very hot on the side of the Florida Mutineers, and like we said, there's no pressure. They know they can't make it into champs. This is their champs. So potentially a top 3 placing here. They could keep on going. It's not like their next match is very difficult, Jay.
Yeah, they got Røkkr next, Jay. What do you think about this? You have just Røkkr in your way of a top 3 finish.
That you got to be feeling fantastic if you're Florida Mutineers. When you beat a team like OpTic Texas, everyone had them as the heavy favorite walking into the tournament. When you beat a team like that, it does the utmost confidence for your entire organization, for your entire roster, to put you in a position where you know in your mind, I can beat anyone that's across the stage. So such a big win for Florida Mutineers to get that 3-0.
Florida fans are used to their team starting in the losers bracket. They're used to watching them on Friday. Well, guess what? Your team is going to be watching VOD tomorrow. Instead, they will be preparing for their Saturday battle against Minnesota. FaZe versus Ultra also happening on Saturday. But you look at the bottom of that screen. OpTic LA Thieves, Breach Ravens, Legion Surge, Subliners Guerrillas. We got storylines galore.
I mean, whoever wins versus CL Surge and Vegas Legion, I think, is going to champs. That's kind of where I'm at right now with how crazy this day has been so far. The fact that Florida Mutineers, Minnesota Røkkr moved on from that top side of the bracket. We talked about OpTic Texas having the easiest bracket heading into that final, and they get 3-0'd, and now they have to go up against LA Thieves. I mean,
that's a good reward, huh?
4 matches in your elimination round 1, and we will play a bonus elimination round 2 to close out the day. Here's a look at the schedule for all of the action. Your Monster Energy matchup coming up at 7:30. We'll have to wait and see who's going to be playing in it. I want to see LA Thieves versus OpTic, though, go the distance. Give us a little preview 100%. Of what we could be getting at champs. Also, that Surge Legion game, you're playing for a spot at champs. We may see the best Call of Duty happening at 6 p.m.
That's literally everything. For Las Vegas Legion, you're currently sitting at 160. Seattle are at 190. So even if you beat them, Seattle is still technically in. You have to win another 2 matches and get a top 4 in order to qualify for champs. That's insane.
All right, well, I am told they are shutting down the venue. Thank you all for coming in. Say goodbye on your way out and join us live 1 p.m. Eastern as we kick off day 2. It's the 5th and final major of the 2023 Call of Duty League season. See you then.
Pedal to the metal when I hit the gas, running through the competition like a running back. I don't ever get tired, I don't take naps. Looking back at you when I'm running laps. I'm the realest in the place, you should know that. Oh yeah, here's another L, you can hold that. All alone at the top with a throne at. It can get a little cold just like snow caps. No cap, if I fall, I'ma be back like a relapse. Never relax, hit you in the chin strap with a kneecap to your neck snap. Throw it online, make sure everybody see that. I have my aspirations, I know my destination. I go no hesitation, you can't break my concentration. Anytime enemies. Waiting on my downfall, never see that enemy. Running like I got more legs than a centipede. Gold medal on my chest for the centerpiece. Slow me down, something you can never do. Hold me down, it's impossible, I never lose. One way or another, one is what I do. This is my game and I play by my rules. I have my aspirations, I know my destination. I go no hesitation, you can't break my concentration. Put me in the game, I'm running it. Lose every day, I'm running it. You know I don't play, I'm running it. I'm running it, I'm running it. Anytime, any place, I'm running it. Always down for the chase, I'm running it. You can see it in my face, I'm running it. I'm running it.
Weak. One shot low. Nice.
Røkkr was weak. He was weak. I'm just holding the iron. I couldn't get him. He's one off a street teach. He's working bomb quick. He's playing confident.
You saw him. You can't get on till 8.
I got a frag.